Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Breakfast with Roger and Friends. Hit it, choir. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning, and the 25th of February, and we say good morning to Terry Chamberlain. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Roger.
And we also have Dave Pohs.
Hello, Roger. How are you?
He slid into second safely.
Oh, I didn't even have to
you.
slide.
Yeah.
It's a walk-off.
Yeah, you're right. The ball got away from the catcher,
Yes,
so
it
he
did.
walked in. And Tyrus Kileon all the way from, what a prince of a guy, Princeville, Illinois.
Good morning.
What is the exact population of the Princeville village, I guess? You have any idea? Why don't you just start counting them?
Well, let's see.
The
There's
people that you know.
let's see. There's Jim.
Okay.
There's John.
That's, Jimmy John.
Jimmy John.
Two wonderful names.
Dale and no, I don't know.
Well,
What's
I'm
the
not really
ice cream
sure.
place? That big old ice cream place.
Yeah, they've.
Princeville.
You're right.
Yeah,
Oh,
they've changed the
yeah,
name
with
just about 100 times.
Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
wish I
Yeah, it's
stopping
been
there.
like, I don't know. What
But
is
isn't it true that towns, many towns, not all, but many towns, the center of attention, the center of activity is an ice cream shop. In Princeville, they've got theirs. In Tremont, they have, what do they call the one at Tremont? Pinkies,
Okay.
I think. And in Morton,
It was the Dairy Queen.
it was Dairy Queen.
Carious is Dairy
Carious.
Queen.
Carious,
Queen,
now
yeah.
it's Carious Dreamland,
Yeah.
Is it?
or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
You can get pumpkin ice cream there during the pumpkin
Yes, you
festival.
can. Right. And they have a little competition now. There's a Dairy Queen on the north side of Interstate 74.
There is.
Yes.
And it's, I think the world of the Curious, but boy, it's hard to turn down Dairy Queen.
It is.
But I still like the soft ice cream, whatever it is. I guess I've heard stories that when you hook up with Dairy Queen, you're hooked up.
Oh,
That you have to order everything from Dairy Queen, toilet paper, ice cream. That's a bad combination to
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
together in the same sentence, Roger.
Yeah.
Well,
Nonetheless.
it's good on ice cream, toilet paper.
Well, of course.
Well, sure. and it seems like there is a Dairy Queen in Washington, is there? And there's
I don't
one
know.
in East Peoria, but guess what? Before they installed and built a Dairy Queen in East Peoria, it was that custard place that has the shape of the building of a
Well,
ice
that's
cream
across the
cone.
street. Yeah, there's
Yes,
the
right.
Twisty. It wasn't Twisty something or other. But then across the street, kitty cornered, they built the new Dairy Queen, and it's
Right.
what do they call them now? The Chill and Grill, because
Oh, yes.
they
Oh,
have
very-
that they have the food
rebranding.
and the cold.
They
Yeah.
do have a nice chicken strip, though. I will give them that.
You have eaten there,
I
have you?
have had a Dairy Queen chicken strip. It's very nice.
There's
I'm hungry.
just
What's
something about
breakfast?
where'd you eat yesterday? Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen. Yeah.
Some of them, the one in East Peoria that is been there for a number of years. Is it? Did they feature a chili dog? I'm thinking there's one fast ice cream place, custard place, whatever, that was big with chili dogs. Oh, I know.
Velvet freeze.
Yeah.
With the velvet
Well, yes, but also the famous one, Emo's at
Oh,
War
yes.
Drive
Oh, yeah.
They do have
and
good chili
Prospect.
dogs. Yeah.
Their chili dogs were out of this world.
And I'm not mistaken, they're a month away probably from opening. Don't they have a fundraiser with the first day they
Yeah,
open?
yep.
Yeah, it
It's
used
like
to be
these-
for arthritis. Is
Yeah,
it still
yeah.
arthritis?
I don't know, but I know that they people line up
I
at
don't
like
know. Yeah, 6
a.m.
Eddie and
to
Emma
get the
usually
chili
go.
dog.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind of a tradition
Eddie's
for
there
them.
at the front of the line, flashing his badge,
Yeah.
so he would get taken care of right away. for that matter. Well, we've got a lot of things going on. The president gave his State of the Union message last night, and a tip of the hat to the Democrats other than Omar, the tent maker. The Democrats were relatively respectful.
Relatively well behaved.
Yes.
I
and
saw Al Green he escorted out again. He
Did
did pretty
he?
much
Did
par
he
for
get
the
out?
course
Yeah, he
right
was
at the
holding
beginning.
I
some big
missed
banner.
sign. Yeah.
I missed that. I must have.
Yeah, well, it's second year in a row, so he's 2-0 now,
He's,
or 0-2, depending
0-2,
how you look
yeah.
at it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which side
Yeah.
are you on there? But
Yeah. Well, you
yeah.
know, it's an opportunity to be on television.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't care whether you're a Republican, Democrat. Most love having the camera on them. Hi, I'm Al Green, and he carries that cane with him, and
Yes.
he made his mark again, and will be forever remembered, I guess, for getting thrown out of the House of Representatives. But since we're talking about the news, let's get into the news and give you all the details, the most comprehensive news of Peoria Radio. And let's start, as we normally do, with the weather, and it's a service of Kyle Varnold. Who else? Of Fortner Insurance. Kyle, as an insurance professional, he can review your portfolio of insurance coverage for home, auto, life, and health. And he's available today at 682-0519, 682-0519. We have quite a weather forecast, at least for the next 24 to 48 hours, at least 24 hours for that matter. And we can tell you that the National Weather Bureau has issued what I haven't heard this before, this term, hazardous weather outlook.
Yeah,
Isn't
they
that
like
a
to
new
do
one?
that.
That's a new one. Due to a wintry mix of rain and snow late tomorrow into tonight. How about saying that late tonight and into tomorrow, Roger? That sounds more chronologically accurate. So be aware of that. And otherwise, increasing cloudiness today with a high of 43 degrees. Snow likely tonight after midnight, less than an inch of accumulation. Last night they were talking about 1 to 3 inches, and now they've backed off somewhat, and we're glad to hear that. The low tonight, 24. Tomorrow it'll be sunny and 47. Friday, we'll see 63 with sunshine, and we'll take and run with it. Saturday, sunny, 46 the high, and currently our temperature at 31 degrees. Now let's get into the news. We're brought to you by Spoon River Home Health. Since 1993, providing home health care by nurses, therapists, and home care assistants, locally owned and operated. Spoon River, they're available 24/7. And here's their phone number, 309-245-0723. Now with the news, here's Terry and Dave with the latest.
Well, President Trump went to the plate last night and he hit a home run as he delivered his State of the Union address. Despite a variety of attempted distractions before, during, and after the historic speech, the president, in an almost telethon-type appearance, ticked off his one-year accomplishments, and they were significant. The biggest was closure of the border, where millions of illegals flooded the country. Among them, killers, rapists, child molesters, and traffickers. The murder rate is at its lowest in over 125 years, said the president.
Trump noted much progress has been made to return thousands to their home countries, but the illegals have flooded our schools, welfare resources, costing American taxpayers billions of dollars. Inflation has been reduced from a once-high 10% under the previous president to the current rate of 2.4%. In foreign affairs, Trump ended 8 wars with leaders of the world, praising him for saving thousands of lives. We'll hear an assessment of the State of the Union speech from former Congressman Ray LaHood at 6:30 this morning.
It was quite a day at the White House yesterday as President Trump welcomed America's Olympic gold medal winning hockey team. Players embraced Trump and he embraced them as they received personal presidential congratulations in the Oval Office. The players have expressed praise and joy for the opportunity to represent the United States in this year's Olympics. Team USA finished second in team totals with 33 medals, including a record-breaking 12 gold. Norway was first with 41 medals. That, too, is a record.
Still no encouraging news about finding 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie or the person who kidnapped her. No leads, no suspects. The family, though, has announced a $1 million reward for anyone who provides information leading to the return of the woman who's been missing now for 25 days. We'll hear from Peoria attorney Kevin Sullivan at 7:30 this morning with an update on the probable murder investigation.
A Peoria County jury has found 21-year-old Jordan Gibson guilty of criminal sexual assault. The Princeville man was charged with molesting a 14-year-old girl last December. It took the jury less than 30 minutes to return the guilty verdict. Apparently, it was not the first time he sexually assaulted a female. He'll be in court again in April on a similar charge.
A Peoria County grand jury yesterday indicted 28-year-old Ganella Johnson on 5 counts of aggravated driving under the influence. She was the driver of a vehicle that rear-ended a pickup truck earlier this month at the intersection of University and McClure. The truck driver was seriously injured, and 6 passengers in Johnson's car, including 3 children, also went to the hospital with injuries.
The Peoria Fire Department reports a major blaze caused some $225,000 in damage at a house at 223 West Holly Ridge Circle. Cause not reported, but no injuries. And we have an update on that fire in Dunlap that we told you about. First responders found a victim of that house fire inside the structure. The man had sustained serious burns and is now a patient at the Springfield Memorial Hospital Burn Center. And that's it for news, Roger.
And now more news from our news partner, WCBU, this morning.
From the WCBU newsroom, I'm Courtney Conroy. A state lawmaker serving parts of Greater Peoria has introduced a bill she hopes will start a conversation with insurance companies about their oversight. Representative Sharon Shung's bill would allow the state to reject homeowners' insurance rate hikes, but it would not require insurers to rebate customers for overcharges. That was in a previous proposal that failed.
It's sort of some of the things that industry was willing to acquiesce on. You know, they would be willing to sort of see those things more regulated.
State Farm says in a statement it would not oppose Chung's proposal. 2 key leadership positions at the Peoria Housing Authority are changing amid the discovery of financial irregularities. The Board of Commissioners has announced it has fired the chief financial officer and reported the discrepancies to Peoria Police. With the active investigation, the authority says it will not provide additional details at this time. In an unrelated matter, Armika Crawford has resigned as CEO. The board has appointed Damon Duncan as the interim chief executive officer. 2 of the 7 Pekin City Council members say they will not support a proposed data center development on property currently owned by the city. Dave Nutter made his announcement at the end of this week's council meeting. He says the proposal for Pekin is not the right fit in the right place.
After listening to the public for at least 3 meetings, more than that, all the emails, all the phone calls, all my personal contacts that I get, I am against the data center.
Councilmember Jake Fletcher also confirmed his opposition. No other council members have declared their positions publicly. And Illinois Central College will host open community forums with the finalists to become the next president. The Presidential Search Committee has narrowed its field to 3 remaining candidates to replace Sheila Quirk-Bailey. They have not yet been named publicly. Each candidate has separate visits to the East Peoria campus scheduled on March 5th, 9th, and 10th. Those visits will include the hour-long community forums at 4 p.m. each day. Feedback gathered at the forums will assist the Board of Trustees in making the final decision. I'm Courtney Conroy, WCBU News.
All right, everybody, it's time for sports. Tyrus is here with all the latest. Good morning, Tyrus.
Good morning, Roger. Thank you. Let's start with the Bradley Braves. They are 19-11 after losing to UIC 93-86 in double overtime. Kind of a tough battle there. They had to come back and they forced overtime and then probably forced another overtime and ended up losing, but you know, it's a good game for them. Next game is Sunday versus Murray State, 1 p.m. at home. Bradley girls basketball are 19-9 after beating Belmont 51-47. Next game is tomorrow versus UIC at 11 a.m. It is an away game. Illinois basketball. They are 22-6 after losing to UCLA 95-94 in overtime. The next game is Friday at home versus Michigan at 7 p.m. Illinois girls basketball, they are 19-8 and coming off a blowout win versus Northwestern 92-65. The next game is tomorrow at 8 p.m. versus Iowa. It's an away game. And then let's talk about some U.S. men's hockey. They won the gold 2-1 over Canada on an OT winner from Jack Hughes. The U.S. hasn't won that since the 1980 Miracle on Ice team 46 years ago. And the goalie, Connor Hollabach, became the first hockey player to receive the President's Medal of Freedom. And he also had 41 saves in that game. MLB news and spring training, the Cubs won their game 6-5 and played today at 2:05 versus the Rockies. The Cardinals lost their game 6-1. They play the Mets today at 12:10 p.m. NHL news, the Blackhawks are back tomorrow against the Nashville Predators at 7 p.m. St. Louis Blues are also back tomorrow against the Kraken at 7 p.m. And then in the NBA, the Chicago Bulls are 24-35 and got blown out by the Hornets last night, 131-99. Also in the game, rookie Con Kneppel of the Hornets became the fastest to reach 200 threes. They play tomorrow night versus the Portland Trail Blazers at 7 p.m. And that's our sports report. Back to you.
Now, do you have the White Sox score? Remember, we've got a reporter on the scene in Arizona.
Oh.
Do you know Dr. Gene Sidler is out there personally scouting
really?
the White Sox? Do you know
They
the
could
result
be-
there?
They could be.
You think they
pretty
might
good.
be a little better?
I think they're going to be a little bit better. They're not going to be that 100 losing team
Well, I hope not.
that
Let somebody else do it, not the White Sox. Anyway, that was sports, ladies and gentlemen. What a game. Was that on television, the Bradley game last night?
I'm not
I
sure.
don't think. Yeah.
But I know they had an uphill battle, and they came back and tied it up. And
Well, let me tell you something. UIC is probably the Cinderella team in the Valley right now because nobody expected them to be good. And they beat Bradley both games, there and at home. And that's not good.
No,
So we're
But a double overtime one. That's that's
well, you know,
I mean, there's
Yeah,
sort of a moral
Still a pretty
victory
good
of some
game, you
sort.
know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
UIC's been playing them tough all year, so.
They've had some good overtime games.
yeah,
too.
they've
Remember
had
that?
some, and you're talking about UIC or Bradley?
Well, Bradley, I was thinking back
Yeah.
on that Belmont game too. Remember how exciting
Oh,
that
yeah.
was?
That
You
was-
know, in overtime. So,
Well, they've had an exciting year
yeah.
this year,
Yeah.
and I think until they lost last night, I think they were in a position to maybe wind up in second place when
They
most people, including Dr. Sidler, had predicted they would wind up around fourth place in the Missouri Valley. So,
Yeah.
what was the final score?
Which one?
The Bradley UIC game?
That was
93
93 to 86 in
86.
double overtime.
So they maybe got blown out in the overtime.
Dr. Sidler is listening already.
He is, all
Yes,
right.
he weighed in. The White Sox beat the Seattle Mariners
10.
12-10,
Yep.
Oh, a pitcher's duel.
and the Cubs beat the San Diego Padres 6-5.
Yeah, he did have that score. He didn't have the White Sox score. So that was 12-10.
12-10.
Mm.
Yeah, and they got beat the day before, but boy, they came back with a vengeance.
Oh, boy.
And that's probably why Dr. Sidler is awake this morning. He's excited because he saw. You know, that is what would you rather see? A game that is 12-10 or 1-0?
Oh, 12-10.
I'd rather see their losses, Cardinals' losses, come now, and then when they get back home,
Yeah.
start winning.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Start winning.
Yeah, I don't care about spring training.
yeah, spring training wins,
That's just-
losses,
Yeah.
you know, doesn't really matter.
It
It doesn't
doesn't-
really translate
Well, it
to.
matters because
Yeah.
Tyrus, what'd you
that
say?
guy-
We were a 6-1 loser yesterday.
Yeah.
Cardinals were, so let's get that out of the way now.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just brush
Yeah,
that one under the rug.
That's right.
Because the reason it matters, these are kids trying to make the major leagues.
Yeah, exactly.
And you
Yep.
want them to be successful. You want
Right.
the pitchers to be successful. You want the bat, but you can't have both.
You can
No,
have
you
both.
can't.
Yeah.
And mostly it's just the guys that are kind of, I don't want to call them like fillers right now, that are playing
Well,
mostly.
no, I don't
You know what
think
I
they
mean?
want to be called fillers either.
No, they're not, but
Are they
I mean, they're
rookies,
they're just,
maybe?
Well,
Are
they're
they
jockeying for
rookies?
yeah,
position.
they're rookies,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
there's like some, other veterans that could be playing like minor league baseball.
Yep.
That they sometimes throw these guys in there, but mostly it's your prospects and
Yeah.
younger players that are getting more of the time right now because, like, your main pitchers or whatever are going like maybe 1 or 2 innings.
And I feel sorry for Dr. Sidler and fans like that because you want to see the starters, you want to see the regulars, you want to see the big guys.
Yeah.
And a guy trots out and it's Bob Jones. And,
Bob Jones. Right?
Bob Jones, who's a utility infielder who played for the Peoria Chiefs, batted .213 last season.
Right.
Yeah, right. Am I right? Am I right?
You're right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
But that's what spring training is about.
Yep.
Give these kids a chance to make the biggies.
Yep. You want to see him win. You don't want to lose. But
And you never know when Bob Jones might turn out to have a better year. Hit
Exactly.
482 home runs over three seasons, maybe.
That's right.
Yeah, maybe not one
Maybe.
season. Have any of you gone to spring training games?
I have
Not.
not.
No.
I would love to go to Jupiter, Florida.
Yeah.
So that's my goal.
Yeah. What do you know about Jupiter? Why is Jupiter?
that's where the
exciting?
Cardinals
That's the
play
Cardinals.
spring
That's where
training.
the Cardinals play. So.
Didn't they also, they've changed home bases for spring training? I believe the Cardinals at one time played in St. Petersburg. I know the
Yeah.
Yankees did,
Oh.
and I did see spring training in 1959. I was discharged from the service in November 1958 and went down in 1959. Saw him pitch against the Dodgers.
Oh.
3 shutout innings, and what a thrill it was. That's the only time I saw him pitch in the major leagues. So it was exciting.
Yeah.
That was the same year that he managed to arrange that I could meet Roger Maris, who
That
was
would have been
in
fun.
Oh, wow.
St. Petersburg.
Do
Yeah.
you have a picture? I would love to see that. That'd be awesome.
No, when I went down to, he took me down to where Roger and his family were living. I think they had a couple of kids, and you just don't take your camera with you.
That's true. And back then it was a big old bulky thing. It's not exactly something
yeah,
to fit in
it
your
was
pocket.
it was a brownie. You couldn't exactly slip that
What
in
year
your
was that?
pocket.
Was Maris was this the home runs?
Must have been 59 because that
Okay.
was the year I went down. But it seemed like I went another year.
Yeah.
But I looked it up, and it did not show that Roger Maris was with the Yankees in one of
Okay.
the books I looked at in 1959. But I met him, so
Yeah.
maybe he was
Sure,
with another team. See, wasn't he with Kansas City before he came to the Yankees, I believe?
Well,
Is that
I don't know.
possible?
I know he's in the Yankees. in the
I know
late
he was
50s.
quiet. He
Yeah.
didn't say boo. His wife did more talking,
When's he with
and
the
certainly
Cardinals
the
then?
kids as well. But I think if you look up one of the teams that he played for, in addition to the Yankees, was the Kansas City Royals or Royale, however you want to pronounce it. Little reminder, what'd you find out?
Cleveland Indians from 57 to 58.
Okay.
And then of course
The Kansas City Athletics. Is that who they
Yes,
became? Okay,
yeah.
58 to 59.
Oh, there we go.
The Yankees 60 to 66.
and then the Cardinals.
The Cardinals
That's where he-
67
Yeah, the
That's where he
68.
finished.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
That's where I remember him from.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
So he was with the Yankees when you would have.
He was with them the longest for 6
Yeah,
years.
that's right.
60
With
to
the
66.
Yankees?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he was with
He
Kansas
was with
City
the
when you met
Yankees.
him then, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that must have been it.
Okay.
Or maybe he was in the transition because
Yeah.
it said 1958 and 59.
Was 67 or 68 when the Cardinals won the series? Because that was the Detroit Tigers game. I think.
one of their.
I think it was 68 when the Cardinals won.
I'll get you.
And they played the Tigers, I think. And that would have been Maris's last season.
Here it is, 67.
67, okay.
Yeah.
as
I
I
was only 4 years old, so you know.
Yeah.
One of our 11
Yeah.
World Series.
Yes, and that's what I think. I love having those. When you look up there, no matter what they're doing, you look around and you see like 11 crowns.
Yeah.
Yep. We're
You
second
like
only
that.
to the Yankees as far as World Series victories.
well, panel. Did you watch the president last night?
I did not.
You
Did
did
not.
not.
I did not. I know it
not.
was the long a marathon. It was the longest
Hour
one.
48
Yeah.
minutes, exceeding
Set a
Bill.
record.
What didn't Bill Clinton have the longest one prior to that? I
Well,
think I heard
Yeah,
somebody
but I think
commentators
last
say-
year Trump had set the record last year.
Right,
So this
and
year
I know he
just-
beat his own
made his
record.
Right, beat his
Yeah.
own
Oh,
record.
Lordy, help us next year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
Right.
He's breaking the records. There's no question he enjoys speaking.
Yes, he does.
Or
Oh,
talking,
yeah.
for that matter.
In front of
and
everybody.
particularly- But again, I compliment a large percentage of the Democrats who were respectful. And this time around, they stood and applauded for those people who were recognized for their leadership or what they did for the country. Of all the stories, and all of them were heartbreaking and uplifting for that matter. But the one that touched me the most was the young girl who was transitioning. That just by school officials.
Oh,
Not telling their parents. That's the one I'm talking about. What she went through, wound up at literally a boys' reformatory school, even though she was a she, for that matter, and is going through therapy. I had mixed emotions. On the one, I thought about her, prayed for her, but on the same time, I thought, was this necessary?
yeah, that one I wish I kind of had not downplayed or not brought up. Two of them really got to me. One was the little 5-year-old girl who'd been injured, and they thought she was never
Yeah.
going to walk again.
Oh, yes,
and there
yeah.
she was. And she's
Oh, boy,
making a
yeah.
remarkable recovery.
You're right, yeah.
That brought tears to my eyes.
Yeah, it sure did.
And then the other time is when they came out and they gave the Purple Heart to
Yes.
the Andrew Wolf, the staff sergeant who
was
is
shot.
recovering. He was shot in the head and recovered. And then also to the parents of Sarah Beckman, the National Guard officer, or,
Reservist,
who died.
yeah.
That just, oh man, I teared up and I thought, oh, how
Yeah.
cool is that? That,
Yeah.
that was neat.
Yeah, it's one of those events where you're glad to learn about it, and you're glad that they're being recognized and honored. But by the same token, it sure is heartbreaking to say
Yeah.
the least. Well, the American flag has walked in on the flagpole. As a matter of fact, Bob Anton is here. Good to see you, Robert. And yeah, exactly right. But it was a momentous event, and I saw more of a, you might say, somewhat reconciliation between the parties. I know. Well, you're worried about it.
Well, no, what got me was when he said everybody that believes that the United States citizens come first over illegal immigrants, and so people stood up, and then they showed the people that were still sitting down, and they focused in on that Mark Kelly,
Right, from Arizona.
Yep, from Arizona, and Court Lappy I didn't recognize, and I'm like, really, people, you've got the gall to sit there and say that you'll put other people above the United States citizens. And that was his point in doing that. Because, take note of people who are sitting down and who are don't have your interests first.
They're honest.
Well, they were honest, but
They just sit down and
Well, I guess they're honest. I don't. Any rate, I appreciated the recognition of certain people and individuals, including the little child, and the innocence of the child, and the pride of the parents. And what was the one guy was 100 years young?
Yeah.
And
yes.
receive the Medal of Honor.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, the guy that had been injured, and he walked in with his wife, and he had the two.
Right.
Oh, that was, yeah, I cheered up on
Well,
that
and I
one
think
too.
also from what I've seen, the State of the Union should showcase what's right with America and some of the heroes, certainly the
Amen
hockey
to that.
team,
Well
which
said.
was right in everybody's mind. And I think that was, from what I could understand and from highlights, that was the purpose. And that is what the purpose of the State of the Union is. You know, it's not a requirement, it's just a tradition that they do it, and that's what the tradition should be.
And it
Focus
was.
on what's exactly.
Exactly. There are times though you would maybe ask, regardless of whether it's a Republican or a Democrat,
Right.
could you shorten the message a little bit?
Yeah. Abbreviated version of it.
Yeah. I've got to go to bed.
Well, here's another thing too.
And remember,
the
and when it ended at 10, it was ending at what time? In
11.
At 11.
And
I
then-
think what he
Yeah.
did also, one of the challenges that Trump had was, certainly this will be the last State of the Union address before the midterm elections, if you think about it this way. And the challenge was to set the stage for what is right, what's been accomplished, and where he's heading this year. And I think he nailed that. I think he did a nice job with that as far as, setting the stage for what's to come this spring and summer into next November.
And we're going to find out the thoughts of former Congressman Ray
Absolutely.
Lahood coming up. But before we talk to Ray, let's bring you the highlights of our news. And the check of the news brought to you by your hometown community banks, divisions of Morton Community Bank. 50 locations in central Illinois to serve you. Look for the clock tower and you'll know. They have time for you, member FDIC. We start with a check of the weather, and there is, according to the National Weather Bureau, a hazardous weather outlook due to a wintry mix of rain and snow beginning late tonight until tomorrow. I said that earlier at the top of the hour, as a matter of fact. I got tonight and tomorrow kind of mixed up, but that's the story of my life. Otherwise, increasing cloudiness today with a high of 43. Snow likely tonight after midnight, but don't get excited. It is less than a half inch, the overnight low 24. Tomorrow sunny and 47. Friday we'll see 63 with sunshine. Saturday sunny, 46 the high, and currently our temperature at 31 degrees. Now the news with Terry.
Well, as we've been discussing, President Trump delivered his State of the Union address last night. Despite a variety of attempted distractions before, during, and after the historic speech, the president, in an almost telethon-type appearance, ticked off his one-year accomplishments. The biggest was closure of the border, where millions of illegals flooded the country. Among them, killers, rapists, child molesters, and traffickers. The murder rate is at its lowest in over 125 years, said the president. More than 70 Democrat lawmakers boycotted the annual event. Trump noted much progress has been made to return thousands to their home countries. But the illegals have flooded our schools, welfare resources, say that 5 times fast, yeah,
How about 3?
costing American taxpayers billions of dollars. Inflation has been reduced from a once high 10% under the previous president to the current rate of 2.4%. In foreign affairs, Trump ended 8 wars, with leaders of the world praising him for his leadership. We'll hear an assessment of the State of the Union speech from former Congressman Ray LaHood shortly after 6:30 this morning. It was a big day at the White House yesterday as President Trump welcomed America's men's Olympic gold medal hockey team. Players received personal presidential congratulations in the Oval Office. The players have expressed praise and joy for the opportunity to represent the United States in this year's Olympics. Still no news about finding 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie or the person who kidnapped her. No leads, no suspects. The family, though, has announced a $1 million reward for anyone who provides information leading to the return of the woman who's been missing now for 25 days. We'll hear from Peoria Attorney Kevin Sullivan about 7:30 this morning with an update. A Peoria County jury has found 21-year-old Gordon Gibson guilty of criminal sexual assault. The Princeville man was charged with molesting a 14-year-old girl last December. It took the jury less than 30 minutes to return the guilty verdict. Apparently, it was not the first time he sexually assaulted a female. He'll be in court again in April on a similar charge. A Peoria County grand jury yesterday indicted 28-year-old Ganella Johnson on 5 counts of aggravated driving under the influence. She was the driver of a vehicle that rear-ended a pickup truck earlier this month at the intersection of University and McClure. The truck driver was seriously injured, and 6 passengers in Johnson's car, including 3 children, also went to the hospital with injuries. The Peoria Fire Department reports a major blaze caused some $225,000 in damage at a house at 223 West Holly Ridge Circle. Cause not reported, but fortunately no injuries. And we have an update on that fire in Dunlap that we told you about. First responders found a victim of that house fire inside the structure. The man sustained serious burns and was transferred to the Springfield Memorial Hospital Burn Center. And those are the headlines, Roger.
All right, we have 31 degrees, and on the line we have former Congressman Ray LaHood. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Roger and friends.
And I assume the weather is very nice where you are.
You know, I'm not going to complain because I know it's colder in my home of Central Illinois, but it's a little chilly here. But we're not complaining about it.
Okay, I don't blame you for that matter. Well, I don't know whether you want to complain or you want to compliment, but I'm sure you were glued to the TV set, as millions others were. Your assessment of the State of the Union message delivered by President Trump last night?
Well, all of us watched the longest State of the Union address in the history of keeping track of State of the Unions. So that'll go down in the record books as the longest. I think it ended about 11 o'clock. I think there were obviously some positive takeaways, obviously bringing the hockey team in and having them take a bow and be recognized. Clearly was the most uniting part of the entire speech. I think honoring the military people that were honored, clearly a united chamber when all of the members and everybody in the chamber stood up and applauded, as they did with the hockey team. Those were, I think, very, very positive highlights. I think really the rest of the evening was a period when President Trump was touting all of the things that he's been able to do over the last year, whether it's the big, beautiful bill and many of the tax provisions in that, which are now just starting to take effect, addressing the issue of the tariffs. And even though 3 of the dissenters from the Supreme Court were in the chamber, he did not take too much of a hard criticism against them. He obviously said he didn't agree with the decision, but really went on from there and talked about the impacts of the tariffs, and then talked a great deal about the economy and affordability, and it was there were some good bipartisan moments, but there were many opportunities for Democrats to sit on their hands and exert the kind of protest that you would expect from a party that just simply does not agree with the policies of the current president.
I do think, Ray, that the Democrats this time around, compared to last year, were a lot more respectful, and I commend them for that. Obviously.
Yeah, I think Roger, I think they were told by their leadership that last year was kind of an embarrassment, and I think they were told that they needed to respect this moment. They needed to respect the office of the president, and they did that, and I agree with you on that.
You know, what was some of them were wearing a a button, and apparently they got the word to black out a word, and I can imagine what word it was, but I can't remember. I just remember when they did a close-up of one of the Democrats. It showed a badge they were wearing, and they had blacked out one of the words, and as I say, you can imagine what the word was. Do you remember seeing that while watching the speech and the lawmakers?
You know, I don't remember that, and everything I've been reading this morning, there was really no mention of that. The only mention was that the congressman from Texas, Al Green, was escorted out of the chamber as he was last year because he was holding a sign and stood up, and one of the sergeant of arms people escorted him out of the chamber very early in the president's speech, and that's the only reference I read or saw in respect to what you were talking about.
Yeah. Well, I think that was good planning on Al's part. That way he didn't have to listen to Trump, and he got out early, and he got the job done, and that was to get ejected. Ray, as part of his speech and as part of what we've been following very closely, where are we going, where is he going, and maybe he still doesn't know for sure, in respect to what Iran is doing?
I don't, there was no mention of that, Roger. There might have been a little reference to it, but not much. And I think he's still trying to decide. I think it's a mixed. I think it's a mixed advice he's getting from his military people. I read yesterday an account where one of the top members of the military was suggesting that this may not be a good idea, and while others maybe, like the Secretary of Defense, is trying to persuade him to go ahead with it. I think left to his own devices and left to his own opinions, I think he'd probably like to go in there and depose the regime in Iran, which is a very bad regime, and they've imprisoned a lot of protesters, they've killed people, but whether it's the United States' place to be the one, because I don't think there's going to be much support from our so-called allies if he were to go into Iran. I think certainly Israel would support the effort, but you can't just have one country. You got to have the world community supporting you on this. And even though I think the world community believes that the Iran regime, the people in power, are bad people, does that really allow for a country or a group of countries to go in and bring about regime change? And I think the people in Iran would like that very much, but I think he's getting mixed messages, and I think that's the reason he didn't really spend much time on that issue, because I think he's conflicted and getting conflicted advice, and I don't think he's decided what to do.
One thing he did say earlier in the day, I think, or maybe the day before, and he did say that the rumors floating around that he's considering a limited strike, he dispelled that, said there's no truth to that at all. I have not thought about doing that, and that's one of the challenges I know you had as a former congressman, is some of the false narratives that particularly the national media, and sometimes the local media picks it up as well, and starts spreading stories that start with a basic premise that is inaccurate to begin with. It's tough to deal with that, isn't it?
Unless you're a part of the intelligence community, as I was on the intelligence committee for 8 years and got firsthand information, or a part of another committee that gets that. It's difficult to read between the lines, and so much of what I'm saying is based on what I've read, because I'm not in the room and I'm not getting the direct information.
Yeah. Was that hard when you left an Intelligence Committee meeting, was that hard to go home and say to Kathy, you ought to hear what I just heard?
No, it wasn't hard at all.
Okay. And I'll tell you something else that I think is encouraging. You don't hear much coming from the Middle East, particularly in relation to Gaza and your favorite country, Lebanon. Are things calming down? What kind of feedback do you get, or are you hearing anything about what's going on?
I think the fact that Lebanon has new leadership with their new president, relatively new now, been in office about a year, new prime minister, been in office about a year. I think the fact that Syria has a new president and Assad has been deposed and is living now in Russia, I think that has calmed down the region. I think the other thing, the fact that Israel has gone in and taken care of Hezbollah in the south of Lebanon and put them down, the fact that President Trump went in and destroyed the nuclear capability of Iran, which funds Hezbollah in Lebanon, I think all of these factors have brought some calm to that part of the Middle East, Lebanon, Syria, the south of Lebanon, and frankly, things have calmed down in the Palestinian part of the region near Israel, and it has because Hamas is pretty much destroyed. They're not eliminated, but they're destroyed, and Hamas, Hezbollah, all funded and supported by Iran.
Any other thoughts before we let you go?
I think the next several months are going to be a real test in whether Republicans can stay in the majority during the midterms. Roger, that's really what the debate is going to be about now. The election is on, the campaign is on, and whether President Trump and Republicans can hold on to their majority in the House and Senate will be, I think, what everybody will be looking at, everybody will be talking about, and not just the pundits. I think the American people are really trying to figure out what's happening with the economy, what's happening with jobs, what's happening with inflation, and in the end, that will be the deciding factor in the midterms. Does the country really want to continue with Republicans in the majority in the House and Senate, and with the policies that have taken place since President Trump has been in office? And we're going to have a lot of debate about that. And in the end, the American people will decide who they want to be in charge in Washington, D.C.
Well said. And it will be an interesting 2025 or 26 year and 250th anniversary. Exciting year this year, Ray.
For sure.
You bet. All right, thanks. Have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine.
Thank you. Take care.
You bet. Former Congressman Ray LaHood. We have 30 degrees, and we have our pet tip of the day.
Today's pet tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little-known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. Good Morning America recently aired a very touching story about Elmo, the family dog being saved after suffering smoke inhalation in a house fire. He was found completely lifeless on the floor of the bathroom. Elmo is a 60-pound boxer and considered the third child of the family. His owners were out running errands when their home became an inferno. Thankfully, technology has finally created an inexpensive resuscitation unit for our pets. When Elmo's owners came home to find the firefighters working on Elmo, giving him the pure oxygen he needed and monitoring his heart, because these first responders were properly equipped and trained, Elmo survived and only has a limp back leg to show for his ordeal. It is fairly new concept to have animal resuscitation equipment designed specifically for dogs and cats. The oxygen masks are designed to securely fit over the snouts of large dogs or over the entire heads of small dogs and cats in order to better administer pure oxygen when they've suffered severe smoke inhalation. Today, there is no reason for a fire department to not have at least one of these resuscitators on each truck. I urge you to check with your local fire department, and if they don't already have one, buy them one. You never know whose life you can save by this simple gesture. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's Pet Tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
You know, I have a little personal story to tell you about resuscitating a dog. I had a Scotty, and when we lived in Wardcliff, we had a swimming pool 4 feet deep, in-ground pool, a very nice pool, and I had a sense, and the dog always stayed away from the pool, no matter what. Unfortunately, I had a feeling when I was working in my office that I needed to check on my dog, and I went to the kitchen and looked out of the window, and there he was in the pool, drowning. And I right away ran outside. You know what I did? I gave him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and brought the dog around, put him in the car, took him to the vet, and they inserted a tube in him and said, I think he's going to make it. And I rejoiced. I thought, nice going, Roger. Never thought I would do something. But the ending of the story is different. I got a phone call and said, I think you can come over and take a look at your dog and see. And so I went over, and they had taken the tube out, and he was doing okay. We're going to keep him for a couple of hours, then you can come back. Phone rang a half hour later, and they said, your dog is in trouble. You need to come over. So I came over, and they had the tube reinserted. But guess what was in the tube?
Water?
Blood.
Oh.
You know what I think happened?
They punctured something when they
Yes,
put it back
punctured
in.
absolutely.
Oh.
And I lost my dog.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when I hear this interesting pet tip of the day, thanks to the folks at Peoria Pet Crematory, I remember what took place, and it is interesting. You know, I thought about pinching his nose so that when you blew in the dog's mouth, it didn't just go out of the nose. I did what I thought was the right thing to do, and I thought that I had saved the day, but had an unfortunate ending to the story. For any rate, fascinating what it can do. Hey, we have, let's see, I thought maybe Ed Parker would be calling in, but apparently he's punching in for that matter. So I'm going to take this time because we've got a quiz coming up. But this is on this day in history, February 25th, 1964, a certain sporting event took place. What was it? And I think to expedite things, because we have the news coming up in a few minutes, I'm going to suggest that the subject matter is boxing.
I was going to say boxing.
Were you
Would it
really?
be-
I was.
ESPN. No.
Would that have been
ESPN.
Cassius Clay before he was Muhammad Ali?
Uh,
boxing?
yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So there he was one of the
Participants. Yes.
against, would it have been Frazier? Or is that too early?
It's incorrect. I don't know whether it's too
Okay,
early or too
yeah.
late. What difference does it make?
Yeah, that's true. Cassius Clay versus.
Actually, he was using the name Muhammad Ali then,
He
Oh, was he
back
by
then?
then? In
Okay.
64.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
1964.
I thought that was until 60. Okay.
Hmm.
Mm.
And he was the underdog.
Okay.
But wait a minute. At the time, known as Cassius Clay.
Yeah, because in
so you're
68,
right.
68
You're right.
he changed his
Yeah,
name.
in the narrative
Yeah.
it said, the headline says Muhammad Ali defeats whoever it is that you have to come up with. And then they said, how old do you think he was then?
Oh, I'm going to say 28.
Well, no, too high.
Too
Just
high.
a young,
Oh,
21.
my.
young
21.
snot.
Okay.
Tyrus said 21.
He's
Lower.
close. Thank you.
So it's
19.
lower than that.
Try.
19.
Yeah,
18?
you went the wrong direction.
Oh, 20.
Oh, 20.
What did you say the first time?
21, I think.
Yeah, I said you went in the wrong direction, then you said 20.
22.
22, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So who was
Well,
it?
we're looking at it upside down.
Yeah.
Who was it? And he had a cute first name. Remember the song, When Honey Gets Blue?
Honey.
What?
Oh, when honey
Not
gets
honey. Not honey.
Sky.
Sunny. When Sunny
Yes,
gets blue.
right.
Sunny Liston.
Sonny
Oh,
Liston,
yeah.
exactly
Oh,
right.
that's
He defeated champion Sonny Liston in a technical knockout to win the world heavyweight boxing crown. Ali, who officially changed his name from Clay a month after the fight, came out strong during and using speed and footwork to his advantage against the slower Liston, and he was slower.
that was February
Liston was
60.
suffering from an injured shoulder. Announced in what round, after the round, he could not continue.
Third round.
No? Further into the match.
Oh.
I'm going to go 8.
Yeah, I'm going to say 5 or 6 is what I'm thinking.
Well, you're close.
6.
Yes, sixth
Okay,
round.
There we go.
Ali won the match by technical knockout and then announced to the world, I am
The greatest.
the greatest.
Now, what else happened in February of 64? Something else was introduced in February of
in
1964.
sports,
No, but in entertainment, February 1964, what was introduced to the U.S. for the first time?
the Beatles.
Yes, they were. Ed Sullivan Show
Yeah.
in February of 64.
And that's the only one I can think of,
Yeah.
to tell you the truth.
Ed Sullivan
that
Show,
was
they-
a brilliant
February,
answer,
yeah.
for that matter. That was in 64.
February
And
1964.
wasn't it on the Ed Sullivan Show?
It was on the Ed Sullivan Show. Yep.
And, you know, there was something about Ed Sullivan's show and the way he announced. A lot of
He
who
had a
was the
very-
guy
very
that
the shoe.
Yeah.
Distinctive, yep.
who was the comedian that used to imitate him, and you'd swear it was the
Rich Little.
Really big show.
Yeah, I think
for
it
you.
was
Rich
Rich
Little?
Yeah.
But basically, in the 60s, if you were anybody, you had to be on the Ed
Ed
Sullivan
Sullivan
Show.
Show.
Yeah,
Now,
you're
remember
right,
the
you're
controversy, the rock group The Doors, they performed in there, and he
He didn't want him to use
he,
that
he
line.
could not
and-
say, "Come on, baby, light my fire," and they did it anyway.
Yep.
And he
Is
said they
that
would never
right?
be on my
Really?
show again.
No,
yeah.
yeah.
So basically, if you were anybody, you had to be on his show.
Yeah. Well, didn't Elvis Presley
Yeah.
make an
Yeah.
appearance there, and
But
that
you-
helped him
yeah.
splash to success?
But Ed Sullivan liked him because Elvis was very, very polite. He had been
he
raised
was
that way. And
so cordial
so
and friendly.
he, even though of course he had the controversy for the Elvis the
Yeah,
Pelvis
they
sort
turning
of
from
thing.
in the waist
yeah.
up.
But
I know
but he was
someone-
very, very respectful, and so Sullivan liked him, from what I read.
He was
I think-
down to earth guy. Died far too young,
Yeah.
for that matter. All right, I have news,
Yeah.
weather, sports in the next hour. We'll talk to Dr. Gene Stiller about the Bradley loss, and Kevin Sullivan with an update on what's happening with the missing Nancy Guthrie, and more on Breakfast with Roger and Friends, WAZU FM 90.7 in Peoria, Illinois, and also on YouTube. Good to see everybody. Yes, it is. Good morning. It is Wednesday, February 25th, and we start with a check of the weather brought to you by Advanced Medical Transport of Central Illinois. Since 1991, the men and women of AMT have been saving lives with paramedics and emergency medical personnel. AMT serving 65 communities with 54,000 ER calls a year. When seconds count, you can count on Advanced Medical Transport of Central Illinois. When it comes to weather, you can count on us, and we can tell you the National Weather Bureau has issued a hazardous weather outlook due to a wintry mix of rain and snow beginning late tonight into tomorrow. Otherwise, it'll be increasing cloudiness today with a high of 43. Snow likely tonight after midnight, less than an inch of accumulation, the overnight low 24. Tomorrow, sunny, 47. Friday, we'll see 63 with sunshine. Saturday, sunny, and 46. Currently, our temperature at 30 degrees. Now, with the news, here are Terry and Dave.
Well, President Trump went to the plate last night and he hit a home run as he delivered his State of the Union address. Despite a variety of attempted distractions before, during, and after the historic speech, the president, in an almost telethon-type appearance, ticked off his one-year accomplishments, and they were significant. The biggest was closure of the border, where millions of illegals flooded the country. Among them, killers, rapists, child molesters, and traffickers. The murder rate is at its lowest in over 125 years, said the president.
Trump noted much progress has been made to return thousands to their home countries, but the illegals have flooded schools, welfare resources, costing American taxpayers billions of dollars. Inflation has been reduced from a once high 10% under the previous administration to the current rate of 2.4%. In foreign affairs, Trump has ended 8 wars with leaders of the world, praising him for saving thousands of lives. We heard an assessment of the State of the Union from former Congressman Ray LaHood earlier this morning.
It was quite a day at the White House yesterday as President Trump welcomed America's men's Olympic gold medal winning hockey team. Players embraced Trump, and he embraced them as they received personal presidential congratulations in the Oval Office. The players have expressed praise and joy for the opportunity to represent the United States in this year's Olympics. Team USA finished second in team totals with 33 medals, including a record-breaking 12 gold. Norway was first with 41 medals. That, too, is a record.
Still no encouraging news about finding 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie or the person who kidnapped her. No leads and no suspects. The family, though, has announced a $1 million reward for anyone who provides information leading to the return of the woman who's been missing now for 25 days. We'll hear updates from Peoria attorney Kevin Sullivan 7:30 this morning with an update on this situation.
A Peoria County jury has found 21-year-old Jordan Gibson guilty of criminal sexual assault. The Princeville man was charged with molesting a 14-year-old girl last December. It took the jury less than 30 minutes to return the guilty verdict. Apparently, it was not the first time he sexually assaulted a female. He'll be in court again in April on a similar charge.
A Peoria County grand jury yesterday indicted 28-year-old Ganela Johnson on 5 counts of aggravated driving under the influence. She was the driver of a vehicle that rear-ended a pickup truck earlier this month at the intersection of University and McClure. The truck driver was seriously injured, and 6 passengers in Johnson's car, including 3 children, also went to the hospital with injuries.
The Peoria Fire Department reports a major blaze caused some $225,000 in damage at a house at 223 West Holly Ridge Circle. Cause not reported, but fortunately no injuries. And we have an update on that fire in Dunlap that we told you about. First responders found a victim of that house fire inside the structure. The man had sustained serious burns and is now a patient at the Springfield Memorial Hospital Burn Center. And that's it for news, Roger.
Now more news from WCBU, brought to you by Steve Sink. He's the managing partner of PHX Affiliates. Steve has been a business broker for over 20 years, working with clients confidentially and professionally for the sale of a purchase or acquisition of a business. You can reach Steve at 309-696-8508.
From the WCBU Newsroom, I'm Courtney Conroy. A state lawmaker serving parts of Greater Peoria has introduced a bill she hopes will start a conversation with insurance companies about their oversight. Representative Chairman Chung's bill would allow the state to reject homeowners' insurance rate hikes, but it would not require insurers to rebate customers for overcharges. That was in a previous proposal that failed.
It's sort of some of the things that industry was willing to acquiesce on. You know, they would be willing to sort of see those things more regulated.
State Farm says in a statement it would not oppose Chung's proposal. Two key leadership positions at the Peoria Housing Authority are changing amid the discovery of financial irregularities. The Board of Commissioners has announced it has fired the chief financial officer and reported the discrepancies to Peoria Police. With the active investigation, the authority says it will not provide additional details at this time. In an unrelated matter, Armika Crawford has resigned as CEO. The board has appointed Damon Duncan as the interim chief executive officer. 2 of the 7 Pekin City Council members say they will not support a proposed data center development on property currently owned by the city. Dave Nutter made his announcement at the end of this week's council meeting. He says the proposal for Pekin is not the right fit in the right place.
After listening to the public for at least 3 meetings, more than that, all the emails, all the phone calls, all my personal contacts that I get, I am against the data center.
Councilmember Jake Fletcher also confirmed his opposition. No other council members have declared their positions publicly. And Illinois Central College will host open community forums with the finalists to become the next president. The Presidential Search Committee has narrowed its field to 3 remaining candidates to replace Sheila Quirk Bailey. They have not yet been named publicly. Each candidate has separate visits to the East Peoria campus scheduled on March 5th, 9th, and 10th. Those visits will include the hour-long community forums at 4 p.m. each day. Feedback gathered at the forums will assist the Board of Trustees in making the final decision. I'm Courtney Conroy, WCBU News.
To the world of sports. And the guy that has all the information, Prince, the guy from Princeville, Tyrus Kileon. Good morning.
Good morning, Roger. Thank you. Let's start with the Bradley Braves men's basketball team. They are 19-11 after losing to UIC 93-86 in double overtime. The next game is this Sunday versus Murray State, 1 p.m. at home. Bradley girls basketball are 19-9 after beating Belmont 51-47. The next game is tomorrow versus UIC at 11 a.m. It is an away game. Other news. Illinois basketball, they're 22-6 after losing to UCLA 95-94 in overtime. The next game is Friday at home versus Michigan at 7 p.m. Illinois girls basketball, they are 19-8 and coming off a blowout win versus Northwestern 92-65. The next game is tomorrow at 8 p.m. versus Iowa. It is an away game. And let's talk about some U.S. men's hockey. They won the gold 2-1 over Canada. An OT winner from Jack Hughes, who plays for the New Jersey Devils. The U.S. hasn't won it since the 1980 Miracle on Ice team 46 years ago. And Connor Hellebuck became the first hockey player to receive the President's Medal of Freedom. He also had 41 saves in the game. MLB news. In spring training, the Cubs won their game 6-5 and play today at 2:05 versus the Rockies. The Cardinals lost their game 6-1. They play the Mets today at 12:10 p.m. White Sox won 12-10 versus the Mariners and play today at 2:05 p.m. versus the Reds. And then the Phillies today at 12:05 p.m. versus the Tigers. NHL news, the Blackhawks are 22-26-9 and play tomorrow against the Nashville Predators at 7 p.m. The St. Louis Blues are 20-28-9. They play tomorrow against the Kraken at 7 p.m. And then in the NBA, the Chicago Bulls are 24-35 and got blown out by the Hornets last night, 131-99. Also in the game, rookie Con Knippel of the Hornets became the fastest player to reach 200 threes in a season. They play tomorrow night versus the Portland Trail Blazers at 7 p.m. And that is our sports.
Right, who's the worst? The Blackhawks or the Blues? Who's ahead of in their division?
The Blackhawks are ahead.
By what? A game? Game
well,
something like that. It's not neck and neck. Who's worse?
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it kind of depends on the points, but You know, their goalie, the Blues goalie, Jordan Bennington, was the goalie for Canada in the Olympics. So
Yeah. All right. Since you seem to know so much about sports, who scored the winning goal for the United States?
Jack Hughes,
Jack Hughes. What team does he play for in the NHL?
New Jersey Devils.
Nice going, Tyrus. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, he's on
And
the ball.
his brother
Yes.
is also on the team, which is Quinn Hughes, who scored the OT winner in one of the previous games, too.
Oh, really?
So they had a couple of brothers on that U.S.
Yep.
team.
The Hughes brothers are one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of brothers, we have one of the two brothers ready to talk Bradley basketball, and that's Dr. Gene Sidler. Good morning, Gene.
Well, good morning, everyone.
You got to see a slugfest yesterday.
Yes, if you're talking about the baseball game I was at, yes, it was back and forth and a lot of offense.
Oh, you like that. Teri says she'd rather see a game like that than a 1-0 shutout. And I agree. How about you?
Roger, I'm not able to hear you very well.
Really?
Turn your mic up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does that help a little bit more? Testing
Much
1, 2,
better,
3.
yeah.
All right. Thank you. So my question was, Teri says she likes slugfest versus a 1-0 shutout.
Well, you get some of each during the course of a long season, and I guess I would favor the offensive outbursts. It's a little more fun. It does tend to drag out the length of the game. I think the game lasted almost 4 hours. For a spring training game, that's a long time. But it was fun watching. Yes, I do like the offensive outbursts like that.
Well, let's get into Bradley basketball. Heartbreaking loss last night.
Yeah, both teams are good teams and played well. Bradley obviously knew that they were in for a fight because UIC had handled them pretty well in Peoria. But Bradley hung in there and tied the game, went to overtime, went to double overtime. Bradley had several opportunities to pull ahead and maybe put the game away, but just couldn't quite get it done. Frustrating. Strange that Jaquan Johnson had no points in the first half, and then he ends up with 25 points in the game. And on the other hand, Alex Hubricks, who really carried the team in the first half, had only one basket in the second half and the overtimes combined. And I think if they could have maybe gotten a few more shots for Alex, who's the best percentage three-point shooter in the conference, maybe that could have made a difference. But UIC obviously had focused their defense on not allowing him to get free and get those three-point open shots. And as a result, Bradley struggled to get ahead. They did manage to pull ahead, I think, a couple times in the overtimes, but just couldn't hold on.
Yeah. Where are the Braves now in the standings of the Valley?
Well, of course, Belmont has clinched the first place spot. They're 15-3. Now, Bradley is one of three teams tied for second place. Murray State, UIC, and Bradley are all tied with a 12-7 conference record. And so it'll come down to the last couple of games for all those teams, although Bradley's got only one game left. Most of the teams in the conference play tonight. Eight of the teams, I think, play tonight. And then, of course, everybody plays on Sunday. We have to wait and see how things shake out, but Bradley could finish as high as second place if they can win their final game and hope that UIC loses a game along the way, because Bradley does play Murray State in that final game on Sunday. So if they can beat Murray State, they could pull ahead of them and secure second place, but they could fall back as far as fifth place as well if they lose their final game and things work out in a certain way that puts a couple of other teams ahead of them.
Well, what's your assessment of this season? I know you predicted, I think they would wind up in fourth place. They could wind up in second place. They could wind up in fifth place. That's how much parity there is in the Valley, and we like that. But overall, how would you rate this Bradley team?
Yeah, I think that they were picked by in a preseason poll. That's the coaches and the media voting on that, and they're all pretty knowledgeable about what goes on with the other teams, even in the preseason. And Bradley was picked fourth. I felt at that time that was a pretty fair guess because of the fact that Illinois State and Northern Iowa and Belmont all were returning a pretty good nucleus of their team, and you would expect that would help those teams to be a little bit more successful. Well, it hasn't really worked out that way. The teams that have the most returning talent, like Illinois State, Northern Iowa, they've struggled pretty much all year, or just a little bit above the 500 mark in the conference. And some of the teams that reloaded, like UIC and Murray State, rebuilt their rosters pretty much almost in entirety. They have turned out to be really good teams. And so, that's the problem with this transfer portal and the immediate eligibility the players have, is that you can take a losing team and rebuild it very quickly with the right transfers that you sign. And then likewise, you can have a team that, looks like they're going to be pretty good, and then the transfer portal works the other way, and they lose players, and that's hurt some of the teams in the league. And so, yeah, I think overall Bradley has played about where I think most fans might have expected them to play. There have been a couple of the losses that were really agonizing losses that Bradley should have won, and maybe there were a couple of wins that they got too that they might not have deserved entirely as well. Bradley's won a couple of overtime games themselves in the season. So it all equals out, I guess, in the end. But I think the talent-wise and the coaching and such, Bradley is well positioned to maybe make a run in the postseason tournament, and that's really where everything matters, because the only team that's going to get a bid to the NCAA tournament is the team that's going to win in St. Louis the weekend of March 5th through the 8th.
Well, there's no question Belmont is the team to beat, and yet I think there's just about any team in the Valley that could beat Belmont. They're a good team, but they're not unbeatable. And on a good night, Bradley or ISU, certainly UIC, are quite capable, and Murray State, of defeating Belmont. So I really think the tournament championship is up in the air for anyone who suddenly decides that week to get hot.
Should be fun.
Yes, Belmont's going to be the favorite, but Bradley beat Belmont in Carver Arena a couple weeks ago, and they have had some lapses, and they're just a terrific shooting team, and it just shows that at the mid-level of colleges like the Missouri Valley, you've got to have good shooters. Bradley's got some outstanding outside shooters. Usually you don't find these mid-major schools like Missouri Valley teams with dominant inside players like some of the major conference teams will have, but instead they operate with a good offense and then trying to take advantage of the skills that they have, and that's mostly the shooting ability. And you're going to have games where even your shooters are off a little bit. Now Belmont has a whole team load of guys that can shoot well, so that may be why they've excelled, because even if somebody's having a off night shooting, there's always somebody else that's able to pick up the slack. And but you got to hope that some of those guys don't maybe have quite such good luck in the tournament, and hope that Bradley can make a run through the tournament weekend.
Is Bradley still struggling to find a big man in the middle, a guy that can dominate like that horse that played for Loyola of Chicago as an example?
Yeah, exactly. Connor Krutwig was his name, and he was not that highly recruited, and yet turned into a superb player just because he had size and he could finish at the basket, and he could shoot for a little bit from outside too if teams left him open. And it just shows that even a modestly successful big man can have a great deal of success in the Missouri Valley Conference. And yes, Bradley's always looking for that type of player. As you know, we've even imported a 7'1" kid from Europe, and he's had his games where he's played well, but he's just so inconsistent that he's not able to maybe take advantage of the size that he has all the time. Bradley does have a couple of big kids signed who are junior college players this year, and will come in as juniors to Bradley for next season. And yes, the coaches are still recruiting even more size because of the seniors that are going to be leaving Bradley this year. Two of them are the big guys in the lineup. Amit Jonovic and A.J. Smith are both in their final season with Bradley. Those are our top two rebounders on the team. And so, yeah, we've got to do some work to replace those guys, and hopefully that'll happen with some of the recruiting that's already in place and still some to come.
Yeah. Dave Pohs is in our studio. I think he's a big guy, and he's put on a little more weight. But
I resemble that remark.
I think he could work out. You know, in the grand scheme of things, when you talk about recruiting players and with this NIL and NHL and NBA and all the acronyms and so forth, schools of the size and being private and independent, they don't have a prayer against the teams of the Big Ten and the SEC and the ACC because they got too much money.
It's the disparity is more than anybody realizes. Players in the Big Ten, for example, Rink Most was a pretty good and a pretty successful player for Bradley, and he had a couple of years of eligibility left, and he transferred to Nebraska, and he was offered over $250,000, and that was 3 years ago. Lathan Somerville, the kid from Peoria, that Bradley was the first team to offer him a scholarship. That's Marcus Somerville's son, a very good player in high school. But Bradley stood no chance because he was offered seven figures, $1 million in NIL money to go to Rutgers. And now he's at Washington, where he's earning even more because he transferred again. These kids today, if they're really good players, yes, they can make more money in this name, image, likeness payoffs in college than they could make playing professionally. And so you even see some of these pro players going back to college and somehow getting college eligibility restored so they can go back to college and earn even more money than they're making as a pro.
You know what I think Bradley ought to do is develop a relationship with maybe Jim's Steakhouse or Alexander's, have the players work there, because I'll tell you what, those servers make a lot of money. That's the only way I can think Bradley can compete. You know, I'm being facetious. I do remember seeing years ago a picture of Squeaky Malchory wearing a white robe. I don't know if robe is the right word, working for Eastern Beef. He actually had a job at Eastern Beef while attending Bradley University, and that was a way in which they could help him financially.
My wife's grandparents owned Eastern Beef.
So you do remember that, do you not? Yeah.
Roger, we could have some of the Bradley players do promos for the Roger and Friends show, and you could chip in a little name, image, likeness money yourself.
Yeah, I sure could. As a matter of fact, I've got some Reese's candy bars here and M&Ms, and we have some day-old donuts.
I noticed that our expense account has not been replenished, Tyrus.
What expense account?
Oh, there you go. And there's the answer.
Are you getting to see some of the premier White Sox players, or are most of the minor league players taking the field for Chicago?
No, so far, what they'll do is they'll start the players that are the regulars, the guys that are going to probably be on the field when the regular season starts, and those guys will get the start in the game, and they'll play 3, 4, 5 innings. And usually then by at least the fifth inning or sixth inning, they'll start to pull those guys out. They'll pack up their gear and they'll head back to the clubhouse, and then they'll start playing the minor leaguers or the free agents and the players who are trying to make the team. So you get a little bit of mix of both. Usually the first 2 or even possibly 3 times through the lineup, you'll get to see the potential starters playing. And being a White Sox fan, I can say that I'm impressed with some of the changes that they made over the off season, the acquisitions. That they've got a better team this year. I don't think they're World Series bound by any means,
Right.
but they're a much better team than the team that's lost over 100 games the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna
So they should be okay. And I haven't gotten to see the Cubs yet, but they've got some talent too, and it'll be tough to replace a player like Kyle Tucker in the outfield.
Oh, you
but
bet. Yeah.
hopefully the Cubs can still manage to play well enough to get to the postseason.
Yeah. I hate to bring this up, but in the interest of balance and fair play, what's the weather like in Arizona today, or yesterday?
Well, it's going to be a little warmer today. It's going to be a high of 86. Yesterday was only 85. But as they say out here, it's a dry heat. You can sit in an 85 degree weather out here, and it's perfectly comfortable. Now, when it gets up to 90 plus, maybe then you start to look for the nearest shade. But it's actually very pleasant out here when it's in the 80s like this, because there's virtually no humidity. You can sit and hold your cold drink all game, and there's never a drop of condensation on it. I mean, the air here is just so dry that it does tend to make that heat feel a little less overbearing.
Well, I'm glad you clarified, because I remember I was out there one year in Paradise Valley visiting my wife and I and family, a dear friend of mine, Chuck Ledgerwood, and his family. And he loved to play golf, and he said, let's play golf tomorrow. And I said, okay. And we went out, and guess what the temperature was? 109 degrees. And he said, but it's a dry heat. And I said, it is hot. I don't dry heat, wet heat, no heat, no moisture, whatever. 109. And you clarified. You said once it gets above 90, then you really start feeling it.
Yeah, I was out here one time when it was 115 in the middle of the summer, and we got up at midnight because there was a lunar eclipse that I wanted my kids to watch, and it was still 110 at midnight.
Oh, you're kidding.
Out here. This was a number of years ago, but yeah, I mean, it is a little different than Midwestern weather.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And by the way, we quit after 9 holes. I said, we're out here in 109 degrees, and you've got a swimming pool in your backyard? What's wrong with this picture? And I guarantee you we jumped in our Yugo and drove back and jumped in the swimming pool and had a wonderful time. Well, you're going to be out there for how much longer?
Well, Saturday we're coming back. There's a Bradley game on Sunday at 1 o'clock. That's the last home game, the last regular season game, and it'll be against Murray State, and that'll be a tough game. So yeah, we'll be back Saturday in time to make it to the game on Sunday, and then talk to you on Monday maybe.
Okay, sounds good to me. Well, have a good day today, my friend, and we'll talk to you the next time.
Probably next Monday.
Yeah, okay.
Unless I have some reason to call.
Yeah, okay. Very good. Thanks, Gene.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Dr. Gene Sidler with a live report from sunny Arizona. All right, let's get into the news. Then we're going to talk to defense attorney Kevin Sullivan and get an update on a couple of stuff. All right, we start with Check of the News, brought to you by Bob Manning, Senior Vice President Financial Advisor with the Grandview Capital Group at Morgan Stanley for all your investment needs. Check out Bob Manning at 309-671-4653. Neat guy. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. Neat gal. With our news, Teri Chamberlain.
President Trump delivered his State of the Union address last night. Despite a variety of attempted distractions before, during, and after the historic speech, the president, in an almost telethon-type appearance, ticked off his one-year accomplishments. The biggest was closure of the border, where millions of illegals flooded the country. Among them, killers, rapists, child molesters, and traffickers. The murder rate is at its lowest in over 125 years, said the president. More than 70 Democrat lawmakers boycotted the annual event. Trump noted much progress has been made to return thousands to their home countries. But the illegals have flooded our schools and welfare resources, costing American taxpayers billions of dollars. Inflation has been reduced from a once high 10% under the previous administration to the current rate of 2.4%. In foreign affairs, Trump ended 8 wars, with leaders of the world praising him for his leadership. It was a big day at the White House yesterday as President Trump welcomed America's Olympic gold medal men's hockey team. Players received personal presidential congratulations in the Oval Office. The players have expressed praise and joy for the opportunity to represent the United States in this year's Olympics. There's still no news about finding 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie or the person who kidnapped her. No leads, no suspects. The family, though, has announced a $1 million reward for anyone who provides information leading to the return of the woman who's been missing now for 25 days. And we're going to hear from Peoria Attorney Kevin Sullivan very shortly with his opinion on this situation. A Peoria County jury has found 21-year-old Jordan Gibson guilty of criminal sexual assault. The Princeville man was charged with molesting a 14-year-old girl last December. It took the jury less than 30 minutes to return the guilty verdict. Apparently, it was not the first time he sexually assaulted a female. He'll be in court again in April on a similar charge. A Peoria County grand jury yesterday indicted 28-year-old Ganella Johnson on 5 counts of aggravated driving under the influence. She was the driver of a vehicle that rear-ended a pickup truck earlier this month at the intersection of University and McClure. The truck driver was seriously injured, and 6 passengers in Johnson's car, including 3 children, also went to the hospital with injuries. The Peoria Fire Department reports a major blaze caused some $225,000 in damage at a house at 223 West Holly Ridge Circle. Cause not reported, but fortunately no injuries. And we have an update on that fire in Dunlap that we told you about. First responders found a victim of that house fire inside the structure. The man sustained serious burns and was transferred to the Springfield Memorial Hospital Burns Center. And those are the headlines, Roger.
All right, now a check of the weather brought to you by Sam Lilly and Associates, providing a comprehensive range of insurance products, including personal auto, home, life, and medical coverage. And, of course, Sam specializes in Medicare plans and options, something he's been doing now during his 40 years in the industry. Sam knows insurance, and you can learn more from Sam. He's available today at 309-245-4374. We are under what they call, for the National Weather Bureau, a hazardous weather outlook due to a wintry mix of rain and snow late tonight into tomorrow. Otherwise today, increasing cloudiness, a high of 43. Snow likely tonight after midnight, accumulation less than a half inch, the overnight low 24. Tomorrow it'll be sunny and 47, and Friday we'll see 63 with sunshine. Saturday sunny, 46 to the high, and right now we are at 30 degrees. And let me see, what do we have? 7:33, and once again Wednesday morning, Peoria Defense Attorney Kevin Sullivan joins us. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Roger.
Good to see you,
too.
This morning. You know, it sounds like some of the authorities in Arizona, and particularly Tucson and that area, or Phoenix, that they're pulling back their resources, that they've done about all they can do in the collection of evidence, if there's any evidence for that matter. Where are we? What's your assessment of where we are?
Well, a couple of things I thought about this morning on the way over. One is now they've upped the reward for information for a successful arrest to $1 million, and I'm surprised that wasn't done pretty quickly.
Yeah,
after
amen
the fact.
to that. You're right.
You know, I mean, you don't want to give your money away when it's hard earned, but you know, after a couple of days, you would think that you know, they're not making a lot of progress and kind of going after, wild goose chase and coming down some rabbit holes, that they would have done that. The other thing, too, is you look back on, and I think there needed to be better coordination between the Tucson authorities and the FBI. And, they were sending stuff to different labs. Now, I'm not saying that that botched the investigation, but they need to cast the egos aside and work in unison. And maybe, even though this was a state investigation, because it did not have federal implications aside from perhaps a kidnapping, they should have made the FBI the lead. I mean, that's what they do. That's what they concentrate on. They deal with these things across the country. They have the resources, the equipment. They've got the profilers. They have, just unlimited resources. But, I think at this point it's getting bleaker and bleaker day by day that they're going to do anything, because I can't believe they've left 1 square inch of that house uncased or unvetted or, not reviewed or analyzed, for one. And two, any evidence that's outside of the house, let's say forensic evidence by way of blood, DNA, saliva, skin, hair, what have you, is obviously dissipated just due to the time attrition as well as just the elements out there. I know it's rained. That obviously dissipates the integrity of substances. It's hot. It's windy. And, I would be very pessimistic if I was the Guthrie family that she's ever going to turn up. And, what did they do? Did they take her to Mexico? Did they do something with her body? I mean, it's obviously, and has there been a legitimate demand for ransom? I don't know that that's even been determined at this point in time. There were some fake ones, obviously people taking advantage of a situation. I don't know if there's been any real ones. And isn't it interesting, the so-called ransom, most of them went to TMZ and not to the authorities. And, I found that to be a little bit, I don't know, awkward, if not unusual.
The media seems to be subtly and then not so subtly attacking the sheriff, claiming in one instance that he has kind of contradicted himself, particularly about suspects. One moment he said we have no suspects, and the next time he had a news conference, he said we have persons of interest and some possible suspects. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think the better way to go in a situation like this would be a lesson learned from Moscow, Idaho, in the Koberger case, where the police just shut up. They did not tell the media or anybody anything. And that was a complicated investigation because it involved a suspect who was in another state, changed his license plate, did a number of things to try to cover it up, hiding all that. And they didn't have the distraction of the media reporting this, and this. I think that's the best way to go. I know it drives the media and the public nuts when they don't know these things, but that's too bad. The priority ought to be solve the crime, and get the person back safe and sane. And, probably a lesson learned. The sheriff, you could tell he wasn't necessarily a gifted public speaker. This is probably his first foray into the national spotlight. Overwhelmed with everything going on, and a little less press and a little bit more investigation. And like I said, I think he could have turned it over to the FBI, and they could have acted as a supplement to the FBI, in my opinion. Just given that Tucson's not used to dealing with these situations. Pima County in this particular situation they took the lead, which they could do. But I think the sheriff would have looked in the eyes of the court of public opinion far better had he deferred to the FBI and say, look, this is what they do. We're not as used to this, and be humble and admit, this is perhaps not in their bailiwick every day. So I think, mistakes were made. I'm sure, but I think there's mistakes made in every type of situation, catastrophe like this.
Yeah, I'm confused, but that's not unusual. But particularly about the pictures. They've come out with a second photograph, and in one account it said that came from a collection of partial photographs, and one indicates that it was taken before the kidnapping, and then the sheriff made an announcement that, well, don't draw any conclusions from it because it doesn't necessarily mean that was taken a week before she was kidnapped. Do you have a handle on that?
Well, you know, it appears to be the same person. He appears to be wearing the same thing. He didn't have a backpack on. It was nighttime. And to me, that would have been taken within a close proximity of time because obviously it was chilly out. It was dark out. Makes perfect sense. He was casing the place out. I bet it was within a week of when it actually occurred, is my opinion. And I don't know why they're taking, and again, maybe they know something, you know, they'd be smart not to say until they really have it in the bag. They said they're going through hundreds of receipts at the nearby Walmarts looking to see who purchased maybe those shoes, that backpack, that coat, all of which are sold at a Walmart. And to me, I don't know how long it would take because you could put a lot of manpower on that task.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And I'm glad you picked up on it and mentioned and reminded me. I thought the shoes that he had on were kind of different and unique. And I think it's the sort of thing like when Ed Parker comes in sometimes with his tennis shoes on, it lights up the whole room and so forth. And maybe that would be something that people remember seeing this guy in Walmart wearing those kinds of shoes, but you don't hear much about it. You're the first person that's mentioned it.
Well, you know, you would look at, let's say, 3 articles of clothing in this situation: the shoes, the backpack, and the coat. He was wearing the jacket, coat, call it what you want. And what is the least common item of clothing out of those 3? Would probably be the backpack or the shoes. Right. And that's where I would start the search with, because you're going to have fewer transactions of those items, and I think easier to pick out. And then, then let's if you find those, if you can analyze their computer records at the various Walmarts, wouldn't it be coincidental? Oh, there's 2 of those things or 3 of those things on the same receipt, and was this paid for in cash or was it paid for by card?
Yes.
And when did the transaction occur? And can we get a security camera on the transaction? And hard to say. I hope they're still doing that. And there's 27 area Walmarts. I can't believe. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't know if this is a person outside of the Tucson area. Tucson perhaps is not that populous, but it is a big geographic area. And it can be pretty rough and rural in certain areas as well. But I would think that they could get through those Walmarts fairly quickly, those Walmart's receipts or records fairly quickly. I don't know that they have enough to go on just by looking at Walmart security footage, because do they have enough to make a comparison? However, I do know that retail establishments, there's one in particular in Peoria, has some very sophisticated security cameras and equipment that they can actually identify people. It's facial recognition.
Oh, really?
They can zoom in and they know who you are.
Is
and if
that
you're
right?
a frequent flyer at that store, they know who you are. They know your car. They can follow you from the point of entry to the parking lot when you come out. And it's
Wow.
It's
That's
incredible.
pretty sophisticated.
Yeah, and they're nailing a lot of retail thefts out of this facility in Peoria.
Let's turn to another subject, and that is the clamor, the cry by big and little retail outlets, organizations for refunds of tariffs. How in the world can they figure that out?
Well,
I had a hard time adding 2 and 2 when I was growing up. How in the world do you figure out how much of a refund you're supposed to get from tariffs?
Well, that's an interesting concept, and it's so complicated. Even the Supreme Court couldn't deal with that, and they didn't.
And they didn't,
They
yeah.
didn't. They passed the buck and sent it back down to the Court of Claims, and the Court of Claims is going to have to analyze it on a case-by-case, individual store by store, and it also is going to involve other countries. But I was pleased to hear last night during the president's speech that he said that most of the countries, the vast majority of the countries who they've made agreements with relative to these tariffs have agreed to keep those agreements in place because there's benefits both ways. So this may be a somewhat of a moot issue, but I found it interesting that he just, he pivoted on a dime last week and said, okay, if you're going to do that, then we're going to do it through this route, which is he's got 150 days to keep the tariffs in place. Hopefully Congress will do what they got to do between now and then. And I think, and I'm not an economic expert by any means, but I think you're going to see the tariffs are, maybe there's going to be a little bit of pain at the front end, but once they get into place, it's going to be a tremendous revenue boost for the country. And at this point, Trump's talking. I think he's talking a little bit out of a little bit of exaggeration.
Oh, you're kidding.
Which he's prone to.
Yeah.
Donald bombastic Trump.
Yeah.
That perhaps could eliminate the Internal Revenue Service and make it the External Revenue Service. Yeah.
Well, don't give him any ideas.
Yeah.
You're liable to do it.
I'd like to give him that idea. So that's not going to be resolved anytime soon. And I also find it interesting that, for example, our governor wants $182 million right away back from the government. The ink on that opinion wasn't dry yet when he said that. And maybe the Hyatt Corporation ought to give back $180 million that they got from the state of Illinois. For
hotel taxes.
Under suspicious circumstances.
Yeah. It's interesting, and then some legislator in Illinois wants to introduce a bill that would force the government to refund to small businesses, and it says so. She wants in the bill so that small stores don't have to hire attorneys. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. In a perfect world.
Yeah, in a perfect world. In another case, it seems like the prosecution of accused killer Josh Robinson of Charlie Kirk is dragging. And it brings on both sides of the aisle, you might say, in the courts, the right to a speedy trial. And yet, I heard a guy on one of the cable news network this morning say it might be until next year before they actually bring Josh Robinson to trial. Apparently, they tried to get the prosecutors thrown out. Have you followed that? On what grounds is that?
There's a pipe dream. They're trying to get at least one of the prosecutors thrown out because one of the prosecutor's kids was in the audience the day that Charlie Kirk was killed. And that's talk about tenuous. That's like saying that there was a fight between Bradley and Murray State on the court, and the prosecutor was in the audience watching it, or the prosecutor's brother or son was in the audience watching it here in Peoria. It's got nothing to do with anything. Talk about speedy trial. Yes, a defendant has an absolute right to a speedy trial. There are two kinds of speedy trial rights. The Constitution talks in vague terms. You've got a right to a speedy trial without a lot of definition. Most of the states have statutes that do provide certain time limits, such as if you're in custody, on most cases, 120 days. If you are not in custody, it's 160 days. Excuse me. But the fact that you have that right doesn't mean as a defendant you want to exercise that right. I've often said that all of my clients have the right to remain silent, but they sometimes don't have the ability to exercise that right. And sometimes a speedy trial is not a good idea. It's not an advantage. But when you get a case of this magnitude, you figure it's going to be 12 to 24 months by the time they get it to trial. And the defense isn't pushing for a speedy trial, and the prosecution's kind of letting things work itself out. And sometimes these things work out that there's a plea, partial plea, complete plea agreement, perhaps not. It depends on the strength of the evidence and the temerity of the defendant. And, there's the majority of cases, I think, should be worked out by negotiation, because they wouldn't have cases if they didn't have evidence to support at least some. But some people want to roll the dice. And, the news this morning was this young man from Princeville, no relation, I hope. Absolutely not. Was convicted in 30 minutes yesterday of a sexual assault. in Peoria County. You know, I don't know the details other than what I read early this morning in the paper, but typically a 30-minute verdict means there was no evidence the defense had, and by the time that they read the jury instructions, they made up their mind and came back pretty quickly. So, you know, probably a case that in retrospect shouldn't have gone to trial. I don't know who the attorney was, what that attorney advised the defendant, but some clients are just absolutely defiant. We want to go to trial, and like in cases I've had, I say, look, here's the evidence. Here's what they're going to be able to do. I'm going to recommend that you don't testify. And, you know, I think this is going to be overwhelmingly against you. And, well, I'm going to trial. I don't care. I'm going to trial. And then they get surprised when the situation's worse than what we could have settled for. And, you know, that's...
Yeah, he hardly had time to go to the restroom and come back.
Yeah,
they did. I got to go to the restroom. We got plenty of time. He comes back guilty.
Well, you know, depending upon what courtroom they were in, the jurors didn't even go to the bathroom because there's only one bathroom in there, and it would take some of them a little bit longer than 30 minutes. You know.
Well, they probably said, "Hey, I got to peek. Let's go ahead and vote."
You know, they didn't even hold out for a free lunch or dinner. You know.
What are your thoughts about the SAFE Act? You know, there's interesting sidebar conversations and stories. And we're talking about proof that you are a citizen and you're eligible to vote and your ID and so forth. A U.S. senator who's supposed to be pretty intelligent, what's his name, Bernie from Maine.
Bernie Sanders?
Sanders, yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to say Bernie Williams, Bernie Sanders. He said during an interview, I don't even know how to get my birth certificate. I thought a U.S. senator doesn't know how to get his birth certificate? How dumb can you be?
Well,
now, you know he did it for dramatic purposes.
Well,
I don't think he's that stupid.
No, and he would have to know where he was born, I would think, but...
maybe not.
Well, it's, you know, then maybe he shouldn't be where he is.
But what are your thoughts about...
The crux of that bill is voter ID, and 85 to 90% of the country, both sides, Democrats and Republicans, according to all polling, are in favor of it. And I heard the House Minority Leader on Sunday morning on one of the talk shows talk about, well, it's going to be unfair to poor people and unfair to, you know, let's say women who would perhaps have to go have their name changed for some reason, or their name is now changed. You know, what about every female who changes her name when she gets married? You know, is that difficult? No, it's not.
No, it isn't.
You know, and you can contact, let's say you were born in Tupelo, Mississippi. You can contact the Tupelo courthouse, whatever office it would be in, and say, I need a copy of my birth certificate. You can go online and do that. You have to verify somehow who you are. So you have to have some evidence of an identity. And you need an ID to do about anything anymore. You need, you need an ID to get in some courthouses. You need an ID to get on an airplane, to check into a hotel.
You need an ID to get into your own checking account at a bank.
Yes.
To provide
you want to cash a check?
Deposit, fine, but boy, you want to take money out, they need a photo ID.
You know, so you need, they were talking about school IDs, military IDs, you know, some idea. We know there's been voter fraud, and, you know, you have to be a citizen when you register. And what is the harm? And I think you have to show some form of ID when you register to vote. Why not show the same ID when you do go vote? And
I agree completely. I mean, what's wrong with showing an ID?
Yeah.
We're so used to it. I mean, why not?
you know,
Well, you see, with the mayor of New York City is demanding for people showing up to shovel snow, they have to show two forms of ID to shovel snow,
Yeah.
but not to vote.
Not to vote.
Oh, that's
you know,
dumbing down society.
I wouldn't be surprised if you need an ID to get into the Capitol or the White House as a visitor. I don't recall that. I've been both places. Don't recall, but I mean, it's...
Well, Kevin, is it correct with the new Real ID that you have to have one now to get into a federal building? That's gonna be the new.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah,
you know, you need the new Real ID with the gold star.
I just applied for my Real ID yesterday. I got it, so I remember them saying that when I did. So.
And you know, to get in our studio, you have to show an ID.
Well, I also have to get my car keys, my wallet, and 5 bank account numbers.
Yeah.
So.
They make me give blood.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. And I was surprised that you were carrying a card that had the name of John Beers. Oh, that was your car.
Well, the car had a
registration.
carburetor in
Yeah,
it
yeah,
still, so, you know.
exactly right.
But yeah,
We're getting crazy in this country.
Yeah.
No, it's just ridiculous. And, common sense has left this world, I think, sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a right to home ownership, but before you borrow money, you have to show an ID. You have to show an ID when you show up to a real estate transaction.
Right.
Are you the person? You need an ID if you have to have your signature notarized. Things like this that are just basic every day.
Absolutely.
And if we didn't have as much fraud, maybe it wouldn't be so needed. But I think the House passed the SAFE Act, if I'm correct.
Yes,
And
that
it's
is
in the
correct.
Senate.
It's in the Senate.
And
And they say Chucky Schumer said it's dead on arrival.
well, there's talk. There's a senator, really a sharp guy out of Ohio by the name of Bernie Moreno. And
Yes,
he
I just saw
He
him
said,
on.
we're going to vote and make this a reconciliation bill that will only take a simple majority and get this through the Senate.
Interesting.
So instead of 60 or 66 votes, now they'll do it with 51 and 51-49 or whatever the margin will be. So hopefully they do that and do it soon. And I think that will help the Republicans, especially with the abundance of the population in America, in favor of it as well. I mean, 84%, and the Democrats say, well, the Republicans want to have fewer voters and they want to have rich people who have IDs vote because they're going to vote Republican. Well, and the Republicans say the Democrats want all these illegals to vote because they're going to vote for the Democrats.
Yeah.
So, it's a two-edged sword, and I don't see any argument against the bill, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I know. I was in a store yesterday, and they said, "Do you have any idea?" And I said, "About
About
what?"
what?
That's
It just seemed
terrible.
that voting,
Yeah,
it seemed like we were always taught as kids it's a responsibility as an educated citizen, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
Where did it turn into somehow being this birthright that, hey, I just get to show up and do whatever? Part of the responsibility is having the ID and participating in our democracy.
Well, really, can you imagine us going to France and say, "Oh, I want to vote in your election"?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
we left right out. It's like, "Are you a citizen?" Well, no, but I want to vote. So why do they think that they can be here as illegal immigrants and have the right to vote? That blows my mind.
Well, and you hear the liberals also saying, we're a country of immigrants and et cetera, They fail to say that people came in here legally.
yes,
Yes.
right.
They came
yeah.
in here through a process, and they earned their citizenship the hard way. And I think it is just an I've been to a couple of the naturalization ceremonies in Peoria. They've held a couple
They're
times
very
a year.
emotional, aren't they?
It's an
Yeah.
incredible experience. I don't think there's there's not a lot of happiness that occurs in courthouses, but Naturalization Day and Adoption Day are two good days when there's good things that really come out for everybody. And it is emotional, and people are so proud of themselves, and they should be, to be naturalized citizens. And they make great citizens down the road. They respect everything. They play by the rules. They want to better themselves and better the country.
We have a couple of minutes before we conclude this segment of our program this morning. What was your biggest takeaway from the president's speech last night?
I thought it was very encouraging. I thought the Democrats that failed to stand up or clap for much of anything was poor form. I like the idea that Trump said, we're going to let people in this country, and then he stopped and said legally. I think there's no fentanyl, there's no border crossings. I think our union is stronger than it was a year ago, to tell you the truth. And I think the economy, he's not getting good marks on the economy. But, gasoline is way down. Down in Florida, for premium unleaded, it's about $2.85
For premium.
for premium. And up here it's $3.85. I just did it the other day. And everything, you talk about the common element to everything we do is the cost of transportation. Because whether you yourself are driving somewhere, flying somewhere, or you're going in to buy a jug of milk, that milk had to be transported somewhere, from somewhere to the store, and that cost is reflected in every purchase we make. So, I think that the economy is going to start really humming here pretty soon. We have $18 trillion in investments. We have inflation's gone down. I think you're going to see after May 1, mortgage rates go down when we have a new Fed chair. I just think that it's an optimistic time, and I also think we're stronger militarily than we've been ever. And I like the idea, and this is probably controversial. You know, when Trump says he's going to do it, he does it. And that keeps other countries on their toes, off balance, not knowing what they're going to do. You're going to be able to negotiate a lot more benefit to this country through strength and fear. And he's the ultimate negotiator.
Yeah, well said. As always, Kevin, thank you kindly, and we'll see you next week, if not sooner.
Okay.
Have a great day.
You do the same.
Breakfast with Roger and Friends continues at the top of the hour with news, weather, and sports on WAZU FM 90.7 in Peoria, Illinois, and also on worldwide YouTube. Wednesday, the 25th of February, and we begin on our program with the news block, a check of the weather brought to you by Spoon River Home Health, making a difference in the lives of their clients since 1993 with a comprehensive range of home health services from skilled nursing to bathing and personal care. Your choice matters at Spoon River Home Health, and they're available 24/7 at 309-245-0723. Well, the National Weather Bureau has issued something that I've never heard of before. Maybe you folks have. Hazardous Weather Outlook, and it was issued due to a wintry mix of rain and snow that will begin late tonight into tomorrow. Otherwise, today it'll be increasing cloudiness, a high of 43. Snow likely tonight after midnight, but the accumulation less than a half inch, so that's a little dusting, apparently. The overnight low 24. Tomorrow it'll be sunny and 47. Friday we'll see 63 with sunshine. Saturday sunny, 46 the high. And right now we are at 30 degrees. Now with our lead story, here's Terry Chamberlain.
Well, as we've been talking about, President Trump went to the plate last night and he hit a home run as he delivered his State of the Union address. Despite a variety of attempted distractions before, during, and after the historic speech, the president, in an almost telethon-type appearance, ticked off his one-year accomplishments, and they were significant. The biggest was closure of the border, where millions of illegals flooded the country. Among them, killers, rapists, child molesters, and traffickers. The murder rate is at its lowest in over 125 years, said the president.
Trump noted much progress has been made to return thousands to their home countries, but the illegals have flooded our schools, welfare resources, costing American taxpayers billions of dollars. Inflation's been reduced from a once-high 10% under the previous president to the current rate of 2.4%. In foreign affairs, Trump ended 8 wars with the leaders of the world, praising him for saving thousands of lives, and our speakers today have concurred with those assessments.
It was quite a day at the White House yesterday as President Trump welcomed America's Olympic gold medal winning men's hockey team. Players embraced Trump and he embraced them as they received personal presidential congratulations in the Oval Office. The players have expressed praise and joy for the opportunity to represent the United States in this year's Olympics. Team USA finished second in team totals with 33 medals, including a record-breaking 12 gold. Norway was first with 41 medals. That, too, is a record.
Still no encouraging news about finding 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie or the person who kidnapped her. No leads and no suspects. The family, though, has announced a $1 million reward for anyone who provides information leading to the return of the woman who's been missing now for 25 days. And we heard more about this from Peoria attorney Kevin Sullivan on this investigation.
A Peoria County jury has found 21-year-old Jordan Gibson guilty of criminal sexual assault. The Princeville man was charged with molesting a 14-year-old girl last December. It took the jury less than 30 minutes to return the guilty verdict. Apparently, it was not the first time he sexually assaulted a female. He'll be in court again in April on a similar charge.
A Peoria County grand jury yesterday indicted 28-year-old Ganela Johnson on 5 counts of aggravated driving under the influence. She was the driver of a vehicle that rear-ended a pickup truck earlier this month at the intersection of University and McClure. The truck driver was seriously injured, and 6 passengers in Johnson's car, including 3 children, also went to the hospital with injuries.
The Peoria Fire Department reports a major blaze caused some $225,000 in damage to a house at 223 West Holly Ridge Circle. Cause not reported, but fortunately no injuries. And we have an update on that fire in Dunlap that we told you about. First responders found a victim of that house fire inside the structure. The man had sustained serious burns and is now a patient at the Springfield Memorial Hospital Burn Center. And that's the news, Roger.
More news from WCBU, brought to you by Matt Wall, CPA, and tax specialist with Gordon Stockman and Wall. Tax time just around the corner. Get ready, file your taxes, and if you want an expert to help you, Matt is available. You can reach Matt Wall at 309-692-4030.
From the WCBU Newsroom, I'm Courtney Conroy. A state lawmaker serving parts of Greater Peoria has introduced a bill she hopes will start a conversation with insurance companies about their oversight. Representative Sharon Shung's bill would allow the state to reject homeowners' insurance rate hikes, but it would not require insurers to rebate customers for overcharges. That was in a previous proposal that failed.
It's sort of some of the things that industry was willing to acquiesce on. You know, they would be willing to sort of see those things more regulated.
State Farm says in a statement it would not oppose Chung's proposal. 2 key leadership positions at the Peoria Housing Authority are changing amid the discovery of financial irregularities. The Board of Commissioners has announced it has fired the chief financial officer and reported the discrepancies to Peoria Police. With the active investigation, the authority says it will not provide additional details at this time. In an unrelated matter, Armika Crawford has resigned as CEO. The board has appointed Damon Duncan as the interim chief executive officer. 2 of the 7 Pekin City Council members say they will not support a proposed data center development on property currently owned by the city. Dave Nutter made his announcement at the end of this week's council meeting. He says the proposal for Pekin is not the right fit in the right place.
After listening to the public for at least 3 meetings, more than that, all the emails, all the phone calls, all my personal contacts that I get, I am against the data center.
Councilmember Jake Fletcher also confirmed his opposition. No other council members have declared their positions publicly. And Illinois Central College will host open community forums with the finalists to become the next president. The Presidential Search Committee has narrowed its field to 3 remaining candidates to replace Sheila Quirk-Bailey. They have not yet been named publicly. Each candidate has separate visits to the East Peoria campus scheduled on March 5th, 9th, and 10th. Those visits will include the hour-long community forums at 4 p.m. each day. Feedback gathered at the forums will assist the Board of Trustees in making the final decision. I'm Courtney Conroy, WCBU News.
All right, Courtney, good job as always. Let's turn to our sports guy, Tyrus, with the latest from the world of sport. Good morning, Tyrus.
Good morning, Roddy. Let's start with some Bradley Braves basketball. The men's team is 19-11 after losing to UIC 93-86 in double overtime. The next game is this Sunday versus Murray State at 1 p.m. at home. Bradley girls basketball are 19-9 after beating Belmont 51-47. The next game is tomorrow at UIC at 11 a.m. It is an away game. Other news: Illinois basketball, they are 22-6 after losing to UCLA 95-94 in overtime. The next game is Friday at home versus Michigan at 7 p.m. It should be a really good game, actually.
That'll be a great game.
Illinois girls basketball, they are 19-8 and coming off a blowout win versus Northwestern 92-65. The next game is tomorrow at 8 p.m. versus Iowa. It is an away game. let's talk about some U.S. men's hockey. They won the gold 2-1 over Canada on an OT winner from Jack Hughes. The U.S. hasn't won it since the 1980 Miracle on Ice team 46 years ago. And Connor Hollaback became the first hockey player to receive the President's Medal of Freedom. He also had 41 saves in the gold medal game. And then we'll say the girls won same score, 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
So
and overtime too, wasn't it?
Yeah. They had their game winner too. I mean, they both played really well.
Yeah, and apparently after saying no, isn't the team now, the women's team, going to go to the White House? Or is that
Eventually,
still up in the air? Still up in the air? Come on, gals.
Yeah. Eventually they'll go there is what it said, but
we'll find it probably the summer of 2028.
Right. And then some MLB news. At spring training, the Cubs won their game 6-5 and play today at 2:05 versus the Rockies. Cardinals lost their game 6-1. They play the Mets today at 12:10 p.m. The White Sox won 12-10 versus the Mariners and play today at 2:05 p.m. versus the Reds. And the Phillies play at 2:05 today versus the Tigers. NHL news, the Blackhawks are back tomorrow against the Nashville Predators at 7 p.m. St. Louis Blues are back. They play tomorrow against the Kraken at 7 p.m. In the NBA, the Chicago Bulls are 24-35 and got blown out by the Hornets last night, 131-99. Also in the game, rookie Con Kneppel of the Hornets became the fastest player to reach 200 threes. They play tomorrow night versus the Portland Trail Blazers at 7 p.m. And that's our sports report. Back to you guys.
There it is. Well, to those of you who are still sticking around, if you were here earlier this morning, you probably said, where's the quiz? Wednesday morning we have quiz. And we have a crowded schedule and agenda. I pushed it back so we have a different audience in many respects. So this audience this morning, during the 8 o'clock hour, you get to participate and
experience the quiz.
So, do you have your thinking caps on?
I have my dunce cap. Go sit in the corner.
I think I left that one at home. I brought a different one
All right.
today.
I've got one. I've got a stocking cap with that.
Oh, there you go.
Well, we have a cornucopia of subjects and questions. So we'll begin with a sports question.
And usually you preface these quizzes with, "Oh, you're going to like today's." You didn't say that.
No, he didn't say that today.
I'm a little
Worried.
Yes, I'm worried too.
Oh. A vote of confidence
These
from
are
Roger today.
but I think you'll like them.
Okay, well, there you go.
And I think that's
something.
important. Yeah. In January of 1951, what pro basketball team folded in Washington, D.C.?
Washington Nationals?
Okay, 51. What were they? I mean, they're the Wizards.
Yeah, but
So,
the
51.
Senators, the Washington Senators.
No.
Okay, that's the baseball.
That's a baseball
Well,
team.
what were they? What were they in the 50s?
In 1951, the pro basketball team.
Yeah.
It was basketball.
They're the Washington Wizards right now. I'm trying to think of what they
Well, I know
were
you're
back
trying
then.
to think
Let's go
of
through all
that.
the legislative bodies, the congressmen.
No, is it the Capitol? No.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Washington Capitals.
Nice
Capitals.
Are you going to swallow that, or are you going to eat it? That microphone.
He's getting his
He's got
fiber.
it a little
He's getting his
closer.
fiber today.
It'll be in your esophagus. King George VI struggled with what?
Stuttering.
Good. Well, how do you guys know these weird questions? What American woman won figure skating in 1953? And she was a cutie.
Sonia Henney?
No?
It wasn't
53.
No, you're thinking
Peggy Fleming.
Peggy Fleming,
That's what I'm thinking.
1953.
That's 60s, I guess.
1953?
Yes, 1953, in answer to your question. And she was an American. I think she came to Peoria and did an exhibition and worked with some kids at Lakeview. I think. I might have her mixed up with another lovely young lady who came to Peoria.
Did she go on to have a movie career?
I don't think so. But I can't answer that question. I'm sorry.
53?
Yeah.
Oh, that's, yeah, I can know.
All right, I'll give you the initials. T is the first name, unusual first name, and A is the last name. And the first name, the first part of it is a number.
What?
10,
Is a
3,
number.
2.
2, 10,
Tika?
a number.
Somebody just said the first part of
10?
her. Hmm.
Okay, so 10,
Tinya?
No?
Tinyani?
tenacious.
I really have no
Tanisha.
clue.
Okay.
Tin-
Tenley is the
Tinley.
first name.
Oh my goodness.
As their first name, and the last name is, if somebody is really brilliant,
Astute.
with the letter B,
Brilliant.
what's another word for brilliant? If the light is too, the
Bright.
light is
Beaming.
too, the light is too,
Bright.
okay,
Right?
Yeah.
okay,
Brightburn?
So it's.
Yeah, but did
So-
you say it was
Tinley
A?
Bright.
yes, mhm.
Her name's Tenley Bright.
Albright?
That's correct.
Tinley Albright.
Tenley Albright.
Oh, was Madeline
Yeah.
Albright?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very
Never
good.
heard of her.
Never heard.
Ever.
No, really. Oh, very
Oh.
attractive skater. I remember her. Who played the female lead in The Country Girl?
Grace Kelly.
Grace Kelly is correct.
Never heard of them.
What actress? What actress played Eliza Doolittle in 1956 in the original cast of My Fair Lady?
Julie Andrews.
The hills are alive.
With his,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Julia.
Julie Andrews.
On the Donna Reed show, what was her husband's name?
Stone. Dr. Stone.
Right, Dr. What Stone? Starts with the letter A.
Albert.
Alex.
Alex Stone, correct.
Alex.
This pop and country singer was the best-selling female artist of the 1950s. Who was it? Anyone?
Brenda Lee?
No.
I didn't
Say it
think so.
again.
Patsy Cline, but that's early 60s, right?
Yeah.
So it's not
Mm-hmm.
Brenda Lee, it's not Patsy Cline. It's not,
All right, I'll help
Loretta
you with a
Lynn.
clue.
That's later too.
How much is the doggy in the window?
Patty Page?
Patty Page.
Oh,
That's right.
wow.
What was the signature catchphrase used at the end of the show by George Burns?
Good night, Gracie.
Say
Oh,
good
say
night.
good night, Gracie. Yeah.
Very good. You guys are on a roll. From 1962 to 1969, what actor portrayed Simon Templar in The Saint?
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore is correct. What rock band formed in 1966 featured Neil Young and Stephen Stills?
Crosby, Stills, and
Crosby,
Nash.
but it was a
No.
band before that.
Hmm.
Ooh,
It was a rock band. Hmm.
I don't know.
All right. Part of the name was a city in Illinois.
Buffalo Springfield.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Where did they come
Oh,
from?
I did not know that.
Yeah,
What
it's
Green
around
Bay
Buffalo
Packer was named most valuable player in the 1967 Super Bowl?
Art
Do-
Star.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, let our sports guys
Yeah.
answer that.
Oh, I was
But
going to wait for
you
you to
said-
finish.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got with these people. You got to jump.
He was
You got to
no,
blurt it out.
He who hesitates is lost with these two. Where did the 1968 Winter Olympics take place? Sports guy. Is not an answer, as
Well,
Judge
summer
Judy
was
would
Mexico
say.
City.
Squaw Valley?
No,
68.
Was
huh?
it in the America? Was it?
no, it was not.
Okay. So-
Belgium.
No,
Sapporo, Japan. I don't
Japan.
know.
Norway?
no,
Finland?
no.
Germany.
Gonna get a half point for
No.
the summer games because that was.
You're
Mexico City.
naming every country except the one.
Brazil.
No, stay in Europe.
Oh.
Germany.
No,
France?
France.
France.
But
Are you
where?
kidding?
Where? Grenoble is correct.
I remember.
Hey.
Grenoble,
Suddenly.
France.
Wow.
I was going to say what as a clue. What do you sometimes like to eat for cereal in the morning?
Granola.
Yes.
A baguette.
So French cereal. I don't know what that means.
What?
French toast is what you were saying.
Yeah.
French toast. I'd like to have that.
Yeah.
And suddenly we're hungry.
Hey,
again.
French
What is the
toast
name of the
good.
hotel operated by Kate Bradley in Petticoat Junction?
The Shady Rest.
The what?
The Shady Rest?
The Shady Rest Hotel.
The
Correct.
Red Roof
Love
Inn.
that.
I lost my place. That's why I was
I-
hesitating. What American woman won 5 gold medals in skating? She won 5 gold medals in speed skating. And I do remember this, but I don't remember what year it was. What was her name?
Was she a sibling? Listen, there was a sibling, a brother and a sister who won a bunch of gold in speed skating, but I can't remember who it is now.
Was her first name Susie?
No. Susie, what is that rhyme? Susie something.
Susie Shells. Sells
Seashells.
seashells by the seashore?
Yeah.
And add speed skating.
All right, I'll help you out. Both the first and last name start with the letter B.
Barbara.
No,
Brittany.
no,
Becky?
no,
Belle.
Brenda.
no.
Brenda.
All right, to help you, the first name is the same name as a woman gangster.
Bonnie.
Correct.
Bonnie Blair.
Bonnie Blair is correct. What 2 artists collaborated on the 1982 single that I never heard of, but maybe you have, Ebony and Ivory?
Stevie,
Oh.
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder?
Stevie
And
Wonder
Paul
and
McCartney.
Paul McCartney.
That
That's
is
it.
correct.
Now we're
Yeah.
gonna sing it, Roger.
You do get
Okay.
points
Now-
for
now it's
that.
in
You
my
did have.
head.
Yeah,
You did.
thanks.
I
Now
heard
it's
you
in-
say
yeah,
you.
that's-
Investigator Frank Cannon was known for his love of what?
Who?
He drove a big Mercury.
Wait a minute.
Frank
Remember-
Cannon. Whoever Frank Cannon.
William Conrad.
Yeah,
Played
yeah.
Oh.
You remember he drove that Lincoln,
Frank
the two-door
Cannon.
Lincoln. I
Yep.
remember that show.
Jake and the Fat
Robert
Man.
Cannon.
He was known for his love of lollipops.
Popcorn.
Like
No, that was
Okay.
Coach.
Oh, that was
okay.
Kojak.
No.
Pasta?
Cigars.
Oh,
No.
wait.
Okay.
His bulldog.
No. Had to do with food.
Okay, so it was food.
Okay. Food. Cheeseburgers.
Lasagna.
No.
What was the show that
I
you
will.
Frank-
I'll
I
help
was
you
Jake
out.
and the Fat Man.
Rather than an individual food, a class of food.
Pastries.
Italian.
Okay. No.
Italian.
So no, hold on a second. We're talking about the show in the show. Right?
Investigator Frank Cannon was known
Frank
for
Cannon.
his love of what?
Okay.
And it's a
Italian?
category. No.
No.
Good guess. Something cooking.
French cooking.
No.
Italian cooking.
No.
Um,
Okay. Here's a clue. It starts with the letter G.
Greek.
That would be
That's
a good
good.
guess, but incorrect.
gourmet,
Gourmet
meals.
You
Gourmet
got
cooking?
gourmet
Now in
cooking.
that show, here's the thing I always found odd because I remember watching that show. He always drove a 2-door Lincoln Continental.
Mm-hmm.
In one episode, he's driving, he's getting chased. He jumps out of the car, it goes over the cliff. Commercial break. He comes back, he's driving the same car. I'm like, wait a minute. here.
Blooper. Blooper.
Yeah.
We need, the prop
Somebody
department
in
to
the
go to work.
editing room
Yeah, we'll just hammer it off.
screwed up.
And it was always the
say
same
the
road
least.
he was getting chased on.
Oh, yeah.
In January 1972, the Lakers' 33-game winning streak was broken by what team?
Oh, what year was that? What'd you say?
1972.
Oh, shoot.
And the Lakers.
The 76ers?
Celtics.
No.
Oh, the Bulls.
No.
No, okay, you
72.
said 72.
It
Okay, never
wasn't
mind.
the Celtics. It wasn't the 76ers.
Lakers, okay. They got theirs.
All right, we'll give you another
Hold
clue.
on. Wait a
It
minute.
was a Midwestern
The
team.
Bucks.
The Bucks is
I read
correct.
just-
Oh.
Because they had that run of
Yeah.
really good teams. in
Okay.
What
73.
rock group released "Smoke on the Water"?
Oh, Deep Purple.
Deep Purple is correct.
Deep
In
Purple.
1975,
Heck yeah.
this roller coaster ride at Walt Disney World opened.
Space Mountain.
Space Mountain is correct.
Space Mountain.
This Oscar-nominated star was stabbed in an alley in 1976.
Sal Mineo.
Sal Mineo,
Okay.
who was the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Hmm.
Janis Joplin.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
Incorrect.
Joan Jett.
That was my second guess.
Yeah.
Terry
Can you give us,
Chamberlain.
I was going to say decade, but that may be giving it away. You can't give us a decade, can you?
No.
Okay, that's.
I'm going to.
Can I have $5?
I'm going to say it's at least the 60s.
Okay, so now it's not. Janis
That's what
Joplin.
I'm guessing.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to think. Because I thought when I was a DJ, I played a song or two by her.
So it's all rock.
She's
and
a black singer.
Oh, Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, it is correct.
Yep.
Am I right? Was
Yep.
it the 60s?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she had a. Is she still living?
No, I think she passed. just now.
No, but your speed skater's still alive, I think.
Bonnie Blair.
Yeah, Bonnie
Bonnie.
Blair should be. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, good job. We'll be right back as we celebrate the panel.
Hey, Steve Harvey here for the Illinois Broadcasters Association. And in a recent survey, the Illinois Emergency Management Agency was asked to name the top 5 items that every Illinois family needs to have in their home's emergency disaster kit. Check out these answers. Water, can't live without it. Number 2, non-perishable food. Well, after all, a man gotta eat, right? Number 3, weather radio, and make sure you got fresh batteries too. Number 4, flashlight, even more reason to have fresh batteries on hand. Number 5, first aid kit. Look, there's no reason to feud over what items to put in your family's emergency disaster kit. Get the answers and more at ready.illinois.gov. That's ready.illinois.gov.
Sponsored by the Illinois Emergency Management Agency, aired in cooperation with the Illinois Broadcasters Association and this station.
Yeah, thank you kindly. Always great to have those kinds of public service announcements. You know, I am in wonderment about how the three of you know so many answers to these questions. Now, I know, Terry, you've watched a lot of Jeopardy programs in your career and so forth, so that kind of explains your wisdom and your knowledge. What's your back? You don't sit and watch Jeopardy or others. So what's your
I
background
don't know.
for
I
that?
just I was a history.
Are you a
I was a
history buff?
history teacher.
Well,
a history-
yeah, but you don't go to school to learn who was on the Dick Van Dyke Show
I
and
like a little trivia.
how many pairs of shoes did he have
I
in the
read
closet.
a lot when I was a kid. I read a lot. I was a history teacher. Roger, an astute observer of all my surroundings.
Oh, well, I
Okay,
like
never
that.
mind.
That sounds well. I think it also means that all of you are well read, and I don't think you get all your information off the internet or the TV or whatever. That during your
I will
lifetime you
say,
did a lot of reading.
With Terry's point, when I was growing up, my mom and dad, we valued reading. We had books everywhere. I remember reading anything I could. And I think a lot of that.
The cereal box.
And here's the interesting thing. I think the more you read earlier in your life, the more it goes into your long-term memory.
Yes, and
That's
that's the
a
tough
good-
part.
And we
That's a
didn't
good
retrieving
point,
it.
yeah.
Then we didn't. You had to read it and you had to absorb it. Nowadays, it just comes at you so quick you can't remember it.
Yep.
Think how many things you're exposed to in a daily day.
Yep.
What were you mumbling?
No, I was going to say not anymore. With
Well,
not a whole lot of people do that anymore.
Yeah, I still like the, and I don't know who said it, John Dewey or Horace Greeley or Horseman. And that is, education is what you remember after you've forgotten what you've learned.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think it's very accurate. Hey, let's do our final newscast of the morning and our pit. Don't go away. And please, good morning, everybody. You know, we talk about hard work is so important. And we learn early in our life that you work hard and you'll be successful. And that's the story of Realtor Kathy Reynolds. She works hard getting results for her clients seeking to sell and or buy their next home. With the temperatures warming up, people are beginning to look at homes and making changes in their lives. Kathy Reynolds of Home Smart, available to help you make that decision. And her phone number, 309-696-2162. Here's Terry.
Well, President Trump delivered his State of the Union address last night. Despite a variety of attempted distractions before, during, and after the historic speech, the president, in an almost telethon-type appearance, ticked off his one-year accomplishments. The biggest was closure of the border, where millions of illegals flooded the country. Among them, killers, rapists, child molesters, and traffickers. The murder rate is at its lowest in over 125 years, said the president. More than 70 Democrat lawmakers boycotted the annual event. Trump noted much progress has been made to return thousands to their home countries. But the illegals have flooded our schools and welfare resources, costing American taxpayers billions of dollars. Inflation has been reduced from a once high 10% under the previous president and his administration to the current rate of 2.4%. In foreign affairs, Trump ended 8 wars, with leaders of the world praising him for his leadership. It was a big day at the White House yesterday as President Trump welcomed America's Olympic gold medal men's hockey team. Players received personal presidential congratulations in the Oval Office. The players have expressed praise and joy for the opportunity to represent the United States in this year's Olympics. There's still no news about finding 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie or the person who kidnapped her. No leads, no suspects. The family, though, has announced a $1 million reward for anyone who provides information leading to the return of the woman who's been missing now for 25 days. A Peoria County jury has found 21-year-old Jordan Gibson guilty of criminal sexual assault. The Princeville man was charged with molesting a 14-year-old girl last December. It took the jury less than 30 minutes to return the guilty verdict. Apparently, it was not the first time he sexually assaulted a female. He'll be in court again in April on a similar charge. A Peoria County grand jury yesterday indicted 28-year-old Ganella Johnson on 5 counts of aggravated driving under the influence. She was the driver of a vehicle that rear-ended a pickup truck earlier this month at the intersection of University and McClure. The truck driver was seriously injured, and 6 passengers in Johnson's car, including 3 children, also went to the hospital with injuries. The Peoria Fire Department reports a major blaze caused some $225,000 in damage to a house at 223 West Holly Ridge Circle. The cause not reported, but fortunately no injuries. And we have an update on that fire in Dunlap that we told you about. First responders found a victim of that house fire inside the structure. The man sustained serious burns and was transferred to the Springfield Memorial Hospital Burn Center. And those are the headlines, Roger.
Yeah, a little personal note. Some of you probably know I spent 25 years at Methodist Medical Center, and Springfield Memorial's had a burn center there for decades. Yeah. And they do a very good job of that. And our thoughts and prayers are with that individual who's being treated with some very serious, if not critical, burns for that matter. Let's take a look at the weather, and the weather this morning brought to you by Mr. Weather, Kyle Varnold, providing personal and business insurance for auto, home, life, and health. You know, Kyle works with multiple insurance companies called carriers to find the right price and the right policy for individuals' policies and businesses while building personal relationships with his clients. You can reach Kyle today at 309-682-0519. Well, the National Weather Bureau has issued something I haven't seen before. That's called a hazardous weather outlook. That means it's going to be bad. Is that what that means? Due to a wintry mix of rain and snow beginning late tonight and continuing into tomorrow. Otherwise, today it'll be increasing cloudiness with a high of 43. Snow likely tonight after midnight, but accumulation, they're now saying less than a half inch. The overnight low tonight, 24. Tomorrow we'll see sunny skies and 47. Friday we're up to 63. And it'll be sunny. It'll be sunny on Saturday, but going from 63 to 46. That's the high on Saturday. And right now our temperature standing at 32 degrees. Now our pet tip of the day.
Today's pet tip is brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
Pet lovers are dedicated to their animals, all species from horses to turtles and of course cats and dogs. If you are a pet lover, learn these little known, somewhat amazing facts about your pet. Good Morning America recently aired a very touching story about Elmo, the family dog being saved after suffering smoke inhalation in a house fire. He was found completely lifeless on the floor of the bathroom. Elmo is a 60-pound boxer and considered the third child of the family. His owners were out running errands when their home became an inferno. Thankfully, technology has finally created an inexpensive resuscitation unit for our pets. When Elmo's owners came home to find the firefighters working on Elmo, giving him the pure oxygen he needed and monitoring his heart, because these first responders were properly equipped and trained, Elmo survived and only has a limp back leg to show for his ordeal. It is fairly new concept to have animal resuscitation equipment designed specifically for dogs and cats. The oxygen masks are designed to securely fit over the snouts of large dogs or over the entire heads of small dogs and cats in order to better administer pure oxygen when they've suffered severe smoke inhalation. Today, there is no reason for a fire department to not have at least one of these resuscitators on each truck. I urge you to check with your local fire department, and if they don't already have one, buy them one. You never know whose life you can save by this simple gesture. This whisker of information has been made possible by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting in partnership with Spot, Saving Pets One at a Time, and KSBR Studios. Produced by Joseph C. McGuire and theme music by Stuardo Glasser.
Today's pet tip has been brought to you by Peoria Pet Crematory of Peoria and Lewiston, providing final care for family pets, large and small, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 713-1898. That's 713-1898. More information is available at peoriapetcrematory.com.
All right, we're in the home stretch, boys and girls, rolling down the aisle to a big finish at the top of the hour. And you have a weather note for us, Terry?
No, Kyle's going to be calling in about
That's the weather note.
At 8:50.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yes. So we will get it straight from the horse.
Yeah. I didn't mean to wake you up there, but I thought, well, maybe, just maybe.
No, I'm not going to talk about heat.
Yeah, is that well? Okay, but we will get. This temperature fluctuation is. I used to think that's one of the big causes of people in the winter, or fall or spring, getting colds because one day you dress one way and the next day you dress another way.
Yeah.
And it's.
Yes, but Dr. Siller said that's not the case.
Yeah, he
Living
did
in
say
the Midwest.
He said, it's an
I totally.
It's just uncomfortable, but it's not.
Right.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable, yes.
But I like the change.
Well,
I like
there's another
you don't
way.
get bored here with the weather. That's for sure.
No, you don't get bored.
I mean, you go down to
You get agitated.
Yeah, I don't want to go
though.
sit in 86 degrees. We'll have that soon enough. So.
Yeah. Or
All right.
75.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. You all did quite well with the quiz. Let's see how well you do with music.
Oh, music.
Tell us the name of the song.
Unforgettable?
No.
Yeah, it's a good intro.
I'm going to block because he sings the words to the song real quick. First, who's the artist?
Nat King Cole.
Every dream
Right race, wrong name.
has only brought me pain. All my life, I've always been so blue.
No, it's not. It's not.
Oh, he'd have a
Regret-
deeper.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
no,
gravelly. That's gravelly. Yeah. Okay, hold on.
And now I'm losing you.
Oh, famous song made popular. Georgia on My Mind was one of his big hits.
Oh, Ray Charles.
Ray Charles.
Oh my
So
goodness.
what's the name of the song now?
Losing You.
What'd you say?
Losing You.
Well, you got one word kind of right. Lose is. Well, I think we actually stumped these panelists.
Lose and sleep.
We got 50.
Born to Lose.
Born to Lose, very good.
She's got it.
Yeah, you got it. That, well done.
What year is that? Because that's an early.
Yeah, it is.
Probably 60.
Maybe we can get some contemporary stuff.
See if
Something before we were born.
see if you can name the artist of this song. It was made very, very popular in a motion picture.
I'll see you
Oh.
in my dream.
Jimmy Durante.
Yes, I'll see you in my dreams.
Yeah.
Now, what movie was it?
Sleepless in Seattle.
That's been one of my favorite
We
romantic
get like you
motion
can think of
pictures.
Jimmy Durante.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Jimmy
Yeah,
Durante.
What did he say when he ended the show?
Good night, Mrs. Calabash.
Did
wherever
they
you
ever?
are.
I heard two versions of what that meant. One, it was a special woman in his life, and the other was I think his aunt.
I
You
never
ever hear
heard the
that?
reason why behind it. I just knew what he said.
Well, people want to know what was it
The rest
about?
of the story.
I bet if you looked it up. All right, here's an instrumental. I know you'll pick this up, the instrumental and the artist for that matter.
Sounds like a Herb Alpert sort of thing.
That is correct, and the name is what?
Oh.
Tijuana Taxi?
Yeah.
No?
But
It's from that album. I think that was the album that was.
Days of Wine and Roses.
Whipped Cream?
Oh, yeah, I can picture the album cover.
That's the name of the album.
Yeah.
I think. Whatever happened to Herbie Alpert and the Marijuana Brass? I mean,
Tijuana Brass. You know what? My mom and dad had this album.
I did too.
As a young kid, I was very intrigued by the album cover.
What's that all over that naked woman?
Yeah, I think it disappeared. I think my brother took it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard the song a million times. But I don't know the name of it.
Because there was like
One word.
Java?
What would you?
No, because that was Albert.
No. It's the name of a night spot. Starts with the letter C. Don't say cafeteria.
Cabaret?
Cabaret, yes. Very good. I knew you would
Oh, so you say
eventually get-
cabaret, I think of that
Wasn't
Liza
the musical-
Minnelli
Wasn't
song.
the musical Cabaret?
Yeah.
With Liza Minnelli?
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
not.
That's not the same song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close. Same decade. Can we get some points?
Ferranti and Teicher.
That is correct. Ed Ferranti and Freddie Teicher. I don't know.
Oh, this is Tonight from
Yeah.
West Side Story.
Yeah. Remember, we used to, we had a little discussion. yeah,
yes.
And I lost. Here's one of my favorite songs when it was when it first
Mine too.
when it first came out, and name the artist.
Bobby Darin.
Yes. And I won't.
It's
he sings-
Beyond the Sea.
Yeah. Well, I tried to cut.
And no, I know this song very well.
Oh, I love this song.
I love Bobby Darin.
watches the ships that go sailing somewhere.
How old was Bobby Darin? He died during heart surgery, did he not?
Right after, I'm going to say 42. Is he
Well, much too young.
39 or 42?
He came to Peoria, Bob Selesky and his lovely bride, Barb Waldron, went to Bradley Homecoming Dance or Bradley Dance at the Fair Market Hotel, and Bobby Darin was the artist. And apparently early in his career, because wasn't he a Bobby Soxer type of singer for that matter? And he, what a great singer.
Beyond the shore, we'll kiss just as before. Happy we'll be beyond the sea, and never again I'll go sailing.
I'm just saying, did he marry Sandra Dee, didn't he, Bobby Darin?
This is unforgettable.
Okay, what's the name of this song?
Unforgettable.
Unforgettable.
Nat King Cole.
Unforgettable.
Right.
Yes, Nat King Cole. But there's another voice on this.
His daughter, Natalie. They
Very
did a
good.
duet. They actually blended. They actually blended his voice in, and she did the duet. Into the charts.
Beautiful
Yeah.
duet.
Like a song of love that clings to me, how the thought of you does things to me.
I don't think Nat King Cole got the kind of credit he deserved, in my opinion.
Has someone
And of course, he was a smoker, a prolific smoker. And
That's what did him in was lung
Nat
cancer.
Did,
He's had more attention after his death.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Even this and his Christmas music too.
Well, that's how it works, you know.
Yeah.
Forevermore. That's how you'll stay. That's how you'll stay.
Yeah.
That's why, darling, it's incredible.
If I were to ask you your favorite Nat King Cole song, what would it be? That's probably it.
Unforgettable.
Unforgettable.
Although at Christmas time it is so.
Oh, the Christmas
oh
song.
my gosh.
Yeah.
That to me is the staple Christmas music. So between those two, I don't know.
Sounds like the lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer.
That's one of my favorites too. My favorite though is Stardust.
Oh, that's a good one.
And the song that the arrangement that he gives that song is one of the favorites, one of my favorites. Let's see if we can go to this song and see if you
Bandstand.
Bandstand.
Yeah.
By who?
It's not Glenn Miller Band, is it?
No. But I think this is the song that Clark used on his TV show.
And Barry Manilow did a version of it later.
Yeah, we did.
He
I
jazzed it
like
up.
that.
Yeah.
Normally, I wouldn't like a vocal arrangement of Bandstand, but he did a great version of it.
So it's not Tommy Dorsey, is it? Not Glenn Miller. I don't know. That's, I'm 50%.
I bet that's Kyle.
Yes, it is. We'll be right with you.
I don't know who did this.
You know what? I wonder if Kyle knows the orchestra. Kyle, do you know who plays Bandstand Boogie?
Who played who? Fantastic Mr. Fox?
Yeah. Who plays Bandstand Boogie?
Fats Domino?
No. Les Elgart.
Okay. This music's behind me, but before my time.
I know
bless
that.
your
I
heart.
know that.
Me and Tyrus are like just sitting here like, this is a nice song. I remember my grandparents playing it.
Yeah. And great-great-grandpa, like Roger, for that matter.
No. You'd be my grandfather. You're my grandfather's age.
I had a record show, and this was my theme song for the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Even before Dick Clark. Even before Abraham Lincoln, I think, for that matter. Hey, what's the story on a wintry mix, the Weather Bureau? Have you ever heard of the forecast that they issued this morning, a hazardous weather outlook? Have you heard that one before?
We issue them all the time.
Oh, okay.
We issue them all the time. Hazardous weather outlook is a short-term outlook in the next 24 hours that it's nothing to issue an advisory for. It's just giving you a heads up that there might be some significant weather at play in the next 12 to 24 hours. No, we issue hazardous weather outlooks when there's fog alerts or fog potential. We issue hazardous weather outlooks when there's a snowfall, maybe potentially moving into the area, but nothing really substantial accumulation. So hazardous weather outlook is something we've done for quite some time. And it shows something like, hey, don't be surprised if you see this or that or one or the other, kind of covering our butts type thing. But it's really interesting because, I was talking to one of our dear friends yesterday, Virginia White, and she's like, you didn't have snowfall in your forecast on Monday when John read it, my Cliff Notes version. And I was like, that's right, I don't think it's going to snow on Wednesday night. And she's like, all the other TV guys are saying we're going to look at maybe 2 inches of snow. And I'm like, well, that's great. I don't think it's going to snow on Wednesday night. And I still stand by that. It's really interesting how the models, especially in the last 24 hours, they've been as quiet as the Democratic on the House floor. But it's just there's really no significant potential there. It's a clipper system, but this clipper system, by all physical components, is starved for moisture. So right now when we look at water vapor readings, and just this is 6 a.m. this morning, water vapor readings across the Midwest are 0.2 of an inch, 0.15 of an inch. And that's not better than the Sahara Desert, in all honesty. Whereas typical late February, we'd see water vapor readings 0.6 of an inch, 0.7 of an inch, where there's moisture at play, particularly in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. And we don't have that moisture at play. It's going to be really, really difficult to get snowfall to really form at the rates that they're calling for, potential up to 2 inches. No, you might see it visually, but I don't think it's going to stick. And it's one of those things that I hearken back to Dr. Bentley at Northern Illinois University, where everyone will tell you if you go with your gut, and he was a big adamant about that when it came to forecast. He's like, your gut instinct usually is right. And 6 out of 10 times, my gut instinct is pretty good. And I know the TV people and what you see on TV and what you hear on the radio is snowfall tonight. I don't see it. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say no snow.
We need some moisture.
We do need it, though.
We do need moisture, absolutely.
But you're not going to.
We're starved for moisture, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah,
we're starved for moisture. We're not going to see it. And if you do see anything visually, it's certainly not going to stick. I think the best potential of anything sticking is down closer to Jacksonville and down by Quincy and Springfield. I think maybe there might be a narrow band of a ½ inch at best of snowfall.
And you're saying, and I don't think you're out on a limb. I mean, you've got a 4-year college degree in meteorology,
that's right.
so you've been at this for a long time, so you're not out on a limb. but if you're wrong, you're
Well, I
wrong.
am out on a limb compared to what the rest of the crowd's saying.
Well,
so if I'm in the
they're out.
headwinds, I'm
No,
literally the
no,
one
wait a
guy
minute.
facing the headwinds.
Now,
But yeah.
wait a minute. It's kind of like, is the cup half empty or half full? They're out on a limb. You aren't, because you feel like you are right, and we're behind you all the way until you're out on a limb. So
I'm
you
okay
don't-
to go out on this limb
you
because
don't-
it's really not. It's not like a 6 to 10 inch storm system. It's not like an 18-inch nor'easter like what we saw on the coast. Like, is it going to be 10 inches? Is it going to be 20 inches? This is just a simple, basic. Is it going to snow and stick, or is it not? And this meteorologist is saying it's not.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to take it out. I took it out of the forecast. Now, here's a question for you. Tomorrow it's supposed to be sunny and 47, and that's tomorrow.
We'll hit 50 tomorrow, Roger.
Well, 50, okay.
With that sunshine, we'll hit 50.
I don't want to hit it too hard, but okay, 50. And then Friday, they're predicting 63. Are you on board with that?
Yeah, so we talked about it on Monday in my Cliff Notes version. We talked about it last Friday, but no, the 60s by Friday and Saturday, absolutely. I'm still on board with that. I'd say 64 on Friday for sure.
Okay, how about Saturday?
So Saturday actually, it's really interesting. Right now, there's a cold front that's going to be coming in from the northwest, and it could not only give us clouds, but I think it could drop our temperatures of that 60 degrees, I think maybe 52 on Saturday. And I'm really sorry to be the bearer of that news because we were hoping a couple of days in the 60s. But the cold front is right now ahead of schedule, so 52 is probably your best bet on Saturday with those clouds coming in and along that cold frontal boundary.
You know, this up and down. We were talking about it, and you know, sometimes it's a challenge to know what to wear, what to dress.
Yeah. No, very, very much so. This time of year, as we go from that winter transition to that spring transition, the temperatures certainly fluctuate, as do the storm systems. Right now, all eyes continue to be on the system coming in Sunday night into Monday. We talked about it on the Cliff Notes version of maybe snow on a week from today. I put in it, and I'm still in that bandwagon. I think our best snow potential is on Monday, and then a very wet Sunday night. And it's really interesting because some of the models are indicating potential freezing drizzle or freezing rain Sunday night before that changeover to snow as it approaches from the northwest. So it'll be really interesting to see. But when you were talking about starving for moisture, we've talked about starved for moisture. Right now, models are showing maybe a 1.25 inch or 1.5 inches of potential rainfall over that 36-hour period from Sunday midday to Monday night. So I'm optimistic about these numbers. I think that's really, really good, and I'd be really curious to see what kind of rainfall we get, and then what kind of snowfall we get, particularly on the backside of that storm system that is going to be making an impact on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, we talked earlier this week with our farm advisor down in Logan County, John Cross, and he said, we're not panicky about moisture in the soil yet, but we're getting close to it.
Yeah, so the soil still has that frost about 3 feet down, kind of protects it, insulates it. Whatever falls really isn't going to penetrate below 3 feet. So to get deep and rich in the soil, we need it to thaw a bit more. But come March, we will need some timely rains and some healthy rains to get those soil moisture readings where we need to, at the depths we need to get a good potential yields once we start planting in early April.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll take it one day at a time, but recognize no snow. No snow.
That's what this meteorologist is saying, Mr. Weather himself. So,
all right, there you are, Mr.
coined
Weather.
me. So no, no, snow is.
Thank you very much.
It's just not in the cards tonight. I'm sorry to say, but Sunday night and Monday, I very much so. And then we'll talk about that more in greater detail on Friday's show.
That sounds good. Well, have a great day, Mr. Weather. Thank
you guys
very
take
kindly.
care. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the sunshine. And then don't be looking for snow tonight because it's not going to happen around here.
Not going to happen. And if anybody knows, it's Mr. Weather, Kyle Varno. Thank you, Kyle.
God bless you guys. Take care.
Have a great day. All right, that wraps things up, ladies and gentlemen, on Breakfast with Roger and Friends on WAZU FM 90.7. Special thanks, Tyrus. Thank you, as always. Dave, good to see you this morning. And
Oh, thanks for
there
having me.
as well. And
I gotta stand and stretch.
we'll see you hopefully tomorrow, since we don't have Dr. Unless we can twist Dave Pohs to come in. And then we'll talk about that off the air. Kevin Sullivan, thank you very kindly for his insights, judicially speaking, and then some. And also former Congressman Ray LaHood with his information as well. Have a great day, everybody. Remember, God loves you, and of course, so do we. Have a great day. Remember this? That was our last one.
Vaya con Dios.
Bye.
But the memories we share are there to borrow. Vaya con Dios.
Les Paul and Mary Ford.
Oh.
And they got divorced.
Yes,
They
they
didn't
did.
like it. Well, that's too bad. And that's what she's singing Vaya con Dios to Les
To
Paul.
Les Paul.
So long, Les. You're out of here. And that was great. Have a great day, everybody. You're listening to WAZU FM 90.7 in Peoria, Illinois.